Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Hope y'all doing great today. Make sure you hit the like button. We are just about to get started. I'm getting ready to go on a out of town actually to the field to report something. So I'm just texting somebody back real quick. All right, let's get some shout outs in here. Who we got in here? Who we got in the live today as of right now? We are going to have a great night. Like always. Wow, we already got about 74 people in here. Okay, all right, not bad, not bad already. All right. Justice Talks with Julia. Make sure you guys follow her on her TikTok. She helps me out with a lot of my investigation. She is excellent at that. So she works behind the scenes for me. Hey, Kristen, Lapia, or Little P, I should say, Little P. Salute to you, Face. Carolyn. Giving you guys some shout outs here. Georgia. Dean. Killing time. You're always here, always a big supporter. Thank you. Thank you for hitting that like button. Is that Marguerite? Marguerite or Marguerite? Marguerite, like Margarita? I'm glad you're here for a live too. We are going to get into this. Hold on, let me see here. Face, your channel is awesome. I rock with how you look at these cases. Thank you, Face. I appreciate that. I really do. I try and give you guys a different perspective, than what everybody else is giving you. Purple Pam, Rebecca. I'm just giving y'all some shout outs real quick. Barbara, Rebecca Parker, Unbox Life with Lori. She says, check out the 2 teens arrested in Arizona for home invasion, crypto scam. I just found out about this. We're actually going to get into that because I literally just found out about that today. And I didn't even get a chance to investigate that. So we're going to go through all that together. Lottie, yes, you made it to a live. Thank you, Susan. Lynn, Philly in the house. We got Charmaine from Columbus, Ohio. You've been following me since the boys broke out of jail. That's back when I think I had that was back when I got 1,000 subscribers. I only had 1,000 subscribers then, Charmaine. I only had 1,000 subscribers. Charmaine has been an original from day one. She's been following me that long. That was back in April or something like that. Good evening, Debbie. Hey. Tulina. Karen, what's going on? This is the good Karen. She's the good Karen, not the telling Karen, the good Karen. I'm just messing with you, Karen. All right, so let's get into this. Wait, hold on. Major Starluck Jewelry, what's up? You must sell jewelry. And Julia said, you get my text about Nanos blocking FBI from key evidence. And hold on. I didn't check that. We're going to get into the sheriff. with some stuff that I found out about him that is not looking too good. It is not looking too good for that sheriff. I mean, we all kind of figured out the sheriff was kind of in the head anyway, right? So let me get into hold on. First off, let me find this video because we are going to get into the sheriff. They found a new evidence, the glove. I'm gonna tell you guys what I think about the gloves in the desert. As soon as I heard about the gloves, I thought about OJ. Like, are they gonna try to make the glove fit on somebody's hand now? First thing I thought about was OJ with the glove. I'm like, come on now. They just do. Let me find these gloves. But I'm gonna tell you guys what I think about the glove. All right. Well, let me tell you guys now what I think about the glove. All right. This is what I think about the glove. Now, could it be the people that did this to her? Could it be their set of gloves? Possibly. Anybody know where those gloves are found at exactly? I heard they were found maybe in 10 minutes from the house or 15 minutes from the house. Let's see. Location. Because I didn't get a chance to see exactly where those gloves were found. So they were found 1.5 miles southeast of her residence, which is going into the city. Let me see if they have a map. Let me see. Because in my previous videos, I kind of drew out a path where I think that they probably went, and I showed you guys that. So let me see if this path aligns with let's see here. If somebody has a map of where they found it at.
Thousands of tips, new evidence, and a possible break in the Nancy Guthrie case. Investigators have recovered a black glove from a roadside near the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's house. The New York Post reporting it resembles the pair worn by the masked person in the surveillance video released yesterday. It comes amid thousands of tips to law enforcement in the case, including one that led police to question a man last night who says he had nothing to do with Guthrie's disappearance. Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt is in.
Now, I will say, the gloves that they did found, I did see a comment. Where's that comment at? Where is it at? Hold on. Let me look and see. I did see a comment about the gloves. Here we go, right here. JDR says, let me move it to where people can see it. Middle screen. JDR says, those gloves are on the ground. I see them when I'm out walking. You are correct. You are correct. Those gloves are so common. So common. I mean, they use them in the. I have a box of these gloves. Now, I'm not out here doing criminal activity or nothing like that, but I have a box of these gloves because one of my businesses, I own a cleaning company. So my crews go out and clean. They clean fleet vehicles for certain companies. And I have these boxes of these gloves for them so they don't get dirty or, if it's something really bad, so they even use them in the kitchen. They use them in restaurants. So these gloves are very common that they did find. I do agree with that.
In Tucson, Arizona, with today's developments, they keep on coming hour after hour. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening,
They
Brett.
found a glove inside Nancy's house too? I didn't hear that. Let me see if I can look that up.
Around Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood may, and I emphasize the word may, have just paid off. During their search today, as you just mentioned, investigators discovered a black glove just off the road. It appears to be similar to the gloves worn by the person seen on doorbell camera video at Nancy Guthrie's home in the early hours of the morning of Sunday, February 1st, right around the time.
Let me pause that real quick for you guys. I'm going to show you something. Let me show you something real quick. Let me rewind this. You see that hand? You see that hand? I'm going to tell you right now. That's not just one glove. That is not just one glove. Either those are some really super thick gloves, or He's double gloved up to make sure he doesn't leave DNA evidence from his hands. What some people will do that do home invasions and things like this, or even some people that go out, just they go out and they know they're going to unalive somebody. Sometimes they will double glove up. They will wear a regular pair of gloves on their hands. So like a regular pair, let's say, of leather gloves, motorcycle gloves, any type of gloves like that, right? But then on top of those gloves, they will wear those black gloves that the comment was earlier that you can go buy on Home Depot for like $20, you know? So a lot of times, so looking at this, it looks like that was double gloved up. His hand looks really too thick. That's the part of his hand right there. Look, you don't even see his knuckle. You can't even see the man's knuckle or the woman's knuckle, whoever this is, because it's so much glove. You can't even see the imprint of his knuckles. That was one of the first things I noticed. Look at that. That was one of the first things I noticed with this.
Of Sunday, February 1st, right around the time the 84-year-old disappeared. Since the release of those videos by the FBI yesterday, thousands of tips have been flooding in, 4,000 calls to the sheriff's department alone. Now, one of those tips led to a man in Rio Rico, about 60 miles south of Tucson.
All right, so Rocco Love says, the other guy that was seen on cam 5 days before Nancy has been cleared. So, which guy that was on cam? Are we talking about the guy that was in like the vest with the reflection? He was checking over the electric box. Are we talking about that guy? Let me know which guy you're talking about. Because I do know they have that other guy, but I think that was from a long time ago. We're gonna get into that video too. The guy with the backpack trying to jump a fence or something.
He was detained Tuesday night and questioned for several hours, but then released without charge.
All I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Much of the ongoing investigative work continues to be focused on a potential route between Nancy Guthrie's and her daughter Annie's home, a home Annie shares with her husband Tommaso, who is believed...
Oh, man. So once again, we got Annie and Tommaso. Once again, Annie and they're always connected some sort of way, right? Some sort of way. So they're saying the gloves are found in between Tommaso's home and Nancy's home. Jordan says, recent subscriber, love your thorough research, clean and blunt approach to these cases. Thank you so much, Jordan May. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Believed to be the family member who last saw Nancy Guthrie when he dropped her off at her house on the evening of January 31st, just hours before the masked suspect showed up on that doorbell camera video. Now, 2 people were seen removing items from Annie Guthrie's home today. It's unclear whether they were law enforcement officers or members of the private security detail the Guthrie family is believed to have hired. We are waiting, Brett, to hear more details about this glove. It may be crucial evidence, but we should also point out that it is...
All right. Did you guys hear that? The private detail that the Guthrie family has hired. Why didn't they have security for her mom to begin with? Now you got to hire security. Why didn't you have security for your own mother to begin with? You didn't think nothing would happen? I know people who are worth less that have security just in case. We all should learn our lessons from these multimillionaires. When something happens to them or a loved one, a lot of times there's no security around. I'm sorry. Let me make some millions. I'm having security. I don't care if I got to give up 20-30% of my paycheck. I got to have security because I can't afford for anything to happen to my family. There's got to be some security involved. And then not only that, you got your mom living by herself. She should at least have the security. She's living by herself, 84-year-old woman. She's vulnerable. Why not have security for her? That makes no sense. I always said she should have had some security. If she had security, this probably would have never happened. Justice Talks with Julia says a CVS worker also said she saw Nancy and her caregiver picking her meds on that Tuesday before she went missing. So there was a CVS worker also said she saw Nancy and her caregiver picking up her meds on that Tuesday. Justice Talks with Julia, she helps me out a lot. We're always behind the scenes. She does investigation work for me. So she was with her caregiver on Tuesday. All right. Unbox Life with Joe. Yes, Lori. I'm gonna get into that too while we're doing this. I'm definitely gonna get into the crypto scam that some people were doing out of Arizona. I don't know if you guys heard of that, but there's some crypto scam that I don't know too much about it, but I heard about it today. Some people might be thinking it's related. If she was like my mom, she wouldn't have it. Hey, I don't care. My mom probably wouldn't have had it either. My mom would have said, I'm protected. I got weapons in the house. I don't care. I don't care. I'm putting security right there in front of the driveway 24/7. They're taking shifts. What you gonna do? They're right there in front of the driveway 24/7. The security ain't got to be in the house, but at least have them right there in front of the house. Like I said, I know people that's worth less that has security. Unbox it. I never thought about security until this happens. I personally know an individual. He makes pretty good money. He doesn't make money like Savannah, but I personally know an individual where he has security, right? To any function, he does a lot of public speaking. So to any public speaking event he has security. His parents are also older too. And he has security for them as well because he doesn't want anything to happen to both his mom and dad both have security. Now they're not with them, on their tail, hand, and foot, but he does have security with them when they go either to certain places or sometimes even certain times of the year or whatever, but he's also has them living in a secure neighborhood. So the neighborhood automatically provides security for them. He wouldn't got them a house inside one of those neighborhoods. It's a gated community. There's security guard at the gate and there's security inside always patrolling. So he went and got them a house just for that. And they still own the original house where he grew up at. They still have that house because they didn't want to leave that house, but he went and bought them another house. And of course, they're living in a gated community and he's nowhere worth what Savannah's worth, but he makes pretty good money. Greetings, Ruth. Thank you for joining, Ruth. Ruth is a member here. Thank you so much. I hope Ruth will order some merchandise with a membership Groupon or a coupon that I have. Thank you for joining in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I always forget to say hit it. Why didn't any of the kids have a subscription or access to her cameras? That's a great question. Great question. Who were the two kids that were living next to her? Annie and Tommaso, aka some of y'all call them Tomato. I'm thinking Nancy, she's 84. And I'm not saying this goes for all 84-year-olds, but a lot of times we all know an older person is not that tech savvy. We know that, right? They usually need some sort of help to figure it out. I'm wondering when all that stuff got installed in the house, was Annie or Tommaso there with Nancy? And whoever installed all that help them set it up. And I'm also wondering if Tommaso actually, because the stuff is not hard to install. I wonder if Tommaso actually installed it. I wonder that too. Let's get back to what this guy's saying over here.
is similar in some ways to the gloves worn by investigators as they search. So, as with so much in this mysterious case, Brett, this could be a breakthrough. It could be absolutely nothing. Brett?
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
Jack says none of this makes
Sean
any
Hannity
sense.
here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
I don't blame you. None of this makes any sense. TJ, what's going on? Let me show you something. This video I watched earlier about the sheriff. How do y'all feel about the sheriff? How do y'all feel about the sheriff? Let me know how you feel about the sheriff. Let me see here. Where is the video I saw earlier? I think this is it right here. All right, so we're going to get into this. I doubt she had a night caregiver. So the caregiver didn't live with her. Boy, oh boy. Caregiver did not. Hey, Victoria. Thanks for joining. Ruth is from Carolina. Says the guy in the video has a tattoo on his wrist. That's what it looks like. It does look like that in a way. How many men have tattoo on their wrist? Though? I wonder if it's a whole sleeve, but how many men just have a tattoo? Usually it's women that I find that have like a little tattoo on their wrist. A lot usually is what I see anyway. Georgia says my dad didn't want it, but guess what? I overruled him. Yes, you have to. You have to. There's some things my mom don't want, but she gonna get it. She is going to get it. Ruth says, I have security and won't be without it. I don't blame you. Jack says, I have security. Rocco says, the older guy with the backup 2 weeks or so before Nancy was supposed to be cleared. So that guy got cleared. Okay, that one guy got cleared. Your daughter has access to your cameras? See, it's usually a kid that has access, or one of your children that has access, or family members. So I don't see why one of the kids did not have access. That doesn't make sense. None of them saw there was no subscription? That's weird. I said the same thing. Why didn't she have security and a driver to take her everywhere? She needs to go with security in her car. A black Suburban with tinted windows. Savannah's supposedly worth $40 million a year. Supposedly she makes $8 million a year. $8 million. Security could be afforded. Security is expensive to a regular working 9-to-5 person, but security is really not expensive when you go to a security company and you hire them, especially when you're making that much money. Yeah, now it might cost them 60 or 70K, something like that a year. But think about it. If you're making 8 million a year, 60 or 70K, is that worth keeping your mom safe? I think so. I think I will spend $1 million. If I'm making $8 million, I'm spending $1 million, $2 million to make sure my family's safe. Because I'm gonna make the money back. I'm gonna get it back. I'm working. All right, so let's get into the sheriff. All right. This is what this person has to say about the sheriff. I kind of briefly saw this earlier. All right. You know what I know about the sheriff? And for you guys to know my story, you know I was not in law or anything like that. I was actually on the opposite side for a little bit. But I do know how law is supposed to work. That was how I evaded them for so long. I know how it was supposed to work. Well, I knew it was a mistake when all this happened. And what was the first thing they did? They went to the house, they took evidence and left. No yellow tape, no nothing. And then you have people like Brian Enton, who's the GOAT. Brian Enton is one of the people I look up to, but walking up to the steps, filming the blood right there with his camera, trampling, walking over any tracks that could have been there. and everybody and their mom sitting in there, you know, all over the house. And it shouldn't have been like that. It should have been blocked off from the start, from the get-go, no yellow tape. These officers and FBI units have been back 2 or 3 times. So let's take a look at what this says.
So overnight, the sheriff's forensics teams in Tucson searching the side of the road near Nancy Guthrie's home. This is the very new stuff now. This, as sources confirm, the FBI is processing a set of gloves found about 1.5 miles from her house. Lieutenant Randy Sutton joins us now. He served 24 years with the Las Vegas Metropolitan
Savannah lives in a
PD.
mansion in New York.
Outside the Pima County Sheriff's Office in Tucson. Randy, your take on what they're looking for that would prompt them to go there at night. What could you maybe infer from this?
Well, in a sense, it shows how desperate they are to literally turn over every stone on this investigation. They are looking for anything. And the reality is that this is very difficult terrain. When you're looking at the wide scope of this search, I mean, it encompasses.
Listen to when he starts talking about the sheriff, okay?
With the hope that they will
He's
be
gonna
able
start
to
talking about the
recover
sheriff.
something that might have been discarded. Now, I caution about the enthusiasm that has arisen from the discovery of these gloves. Is it possible that they're involved? Sure, and they will diligently, the FBI will diligently examine those for DNA and any possibility. They'll be comparing the material from enhanced photographic images that they recover from the video. They'll do anything to either confirm that those possibly might be the gloves, or that this is a non-starter.
Right. Some people have said it's those gloves, the ones we saw in the video, that might be the ones we found on the ground. They found on the ground, are from the food service business. That might be somebody that works in some type of area where you need the thickness of those like thermal gloves. How do you feel about that?
Well, I personally believe that those gloves were easily found in any Home Depot or Lowe's, and they are used for plumbing work and things like that.
Okay.
And that there was a set of gloves underneath that. That's my belief.
That's why you would have the thicker gloves. So the sheriff hasn't spoken to us in a while. We get updates just by piecing together different reports and clues and trying to do our own sourcing. How do you think this is working with the FBI and sheriff, the coordination, the leadership? How is it viewed inside from your contacts?
Here we go. Watch this.
That's a great question, because this is something that's concerned me from the very beginning. Of course, following this case from the outset, beginning when the sheriff did give his press conferences, the way he gave these press conferences was startling. It was unprofessional. He seemed to be out of his depth, quite honestly. He gave information and he walked back information and he said this, he said that. Clearly under his leadership, the scene was not secured properly. We're now understanding that the FBI wasn't called in until several
the glove
days
won't
later,
fit, so they'll quit.
That the scene itself was compromised. This is bad leadership, and I can tell you this, that I've been on the ground here for like 10 days now, and I've got pretty good sources in the area when it comes down to how this sheriff is viewed. And he is viewed as a vindictive sheriff, that he has, in actuality, gotten rid of some of his most experienced people, including on the homicide team. The homicide team here is, they don't get that much experience, because I think last year there were only 5 murders, as opposed to Tucson, which had like 50. So to be a homicide detective requires a great deal of time and education, but experience.
You hear that? He's a vindictive sheriff. Vindictive sheriff got rid of everybody out of the homicide unit. And I do know that to be a fact, because I've been talking with somebody who's actually boots on the ground out in Tucson, who's doing some reporting. And they even told me that everybody who's in the homicide department for that county, the most anybody has experience is 2 years. 2 years. The most any one of those homicide detectives in that county that's in the homicide department right now The most experience the person has is 2 years. Meaning that sheriff started as a homicide detective in 2023 or 2024. So how many cases has he actually worked in the last 2 years in Pima County? So that lets me know this right here is way over their heads. Way over their heads. I was on the run a lot longer than he was a sheriff when he was a detective. This is crazy. That is crazy. 2 years is these detectives that are working these cases, the experience they have out of that county. Now, I'm not talking about the FBI, it's a different story. But I'm trying to say Pima County, the sheriffs. That explains why these people, when they went to Nancy's house, what did they do? They were there one day and left. Inexperience. Kristen says, so basically the sheriff is most likely paid off. Hey, I ain't say it, you say it.
Well, he got rid of his most experienced because he had disciplinary problems or personal problems with them. Same thing with the pilot of the airplane that needed to be up immediately in the search and rescue. He got rid of the pilot and assigned him back to another assignment. He was their pilot. And in all reality, he is not viewed as an effective leader. He's viewed as a vindictive leader.
All right. So I don't know if you guys know about the whole pilot situation. All right. So the night that she got reported, or the morning she got reported missing, the county has, or the sheriff's county has, a helicopter, a night vision, and everything you need pretty much, right? They could not, I don't know if you guys heard of this, but they could not get the helicopter up in the sky. All right. They could not get the helicopter up in the sky to look for her because there was no pilot. And people are wondering what happened to the pilot. Well, now you see. That's why the helicopter was never in the sky to look for anything. There was no pilot. The sheriff got rid of the pilot.
And we're seeing that, I believe, because he hasn't given a press conference since all of the criticism that arose from his other press conferences. And this is bad leadership. The people have a right to have some transparency. Yes. Of course, you don't want to give up the leads or anything, but the people have a right to have some confidence in the law enforcement area here.
I keep going back to John Ramsey told me on Sunday, one of his big regrets was now pushing harder to get the FBI more involved early. He just acquiesced and said, do your thing. He says, and he really regrets not doing.
So Victoria says, why? The sheriff is not the reason Nancy was a sitting duck. No, he was not the reason. But he's the reason the whole crime scene was not secure in the first place. That is the big no-no. Because here's the thing. A lot of criminals, when they do something, a lot of them return back to the scene. A lot of them go back to the crime. A lot of them do this. And you know why they go back to the crime? A lot of times it's to admire what they did. Like, I did that. I did it. And I got away. And I'm over here looking at you guys while you guys are trying to figure out who did it. And I'm looking at you guys. So a lot of criminals will do that. Now, if they didn't secure the whole crime scene, which they didn't, they let it go the very next day, everybody and their moms walk up to the house now with a video camera and a cell phone, claiming to be some sort of reporter. Hell, who was it that got pizza delivered? Did y'all hear about the pizza delivery guy? There's a pizza delivery guy, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, went right up to the door with the pizza. Right up to the door with the pizza to deliver a pizza to a reporter. I think it was delivering it to JLR Investigates. He didn't order the pizza. I think one of his viewers ordered him a pizza because JLR has been camping all night there. We're going to take a look at his video too. But I think one of his viewers ordered him a pizza. And the pizza guy was able to walk all up to the door, trample on the blood and everything else that's there with the pizza. You shouldn't be doing all that. All that should be taped off. So who's to say whoever did this did not go back to maybe, oh man, you know what? Oh, I left one of my boot trails right here. Let me dust some, let me kick some dirt on it real quick so they don't see, let me smash it up. Glad I came back to catch that.
That we know the death of his daughter was in his own house. Lastly, if there was a Guthrie getaway vehicle, was it caught on a traffic camera anywhere after you saw the doorway video? Do you think, what would you be looking for there? Could that be possible?
Yeah, it is possible, and I think that's why they're looking at every single.
Yes, she was a sitting duck. That's why they should have had her some sort of security sitting in front of her house 24/7.
The whatever is out there officially in the government, poll cams and things like that. So they're looking for anything that could possibly be have been utilized as a getaway vehicle, and I fully believe that it is out there. He didn't drag that woman out of there and carry her off to Never Land. There's a vehicle involved.
I've been saying there's a vehicle involved. It has to be. She's 84 years old. It has to be a vehicle involved. It's got to be. Has to be. And I've been saying that. Just like I've been saying there's more than one person involved. It's got to be. All right. Hopefully you guys aren't committing crimes, right? But let's try and put our minds, into the person who's doing this or committing a crime. These people have checklists too. You know how you may go to work, or you might have something, you have a checklist or a grocery list. You know that, right? These people who do this, they got checklists. So they'll be like gloves, check, ski mask, check, backpack full of supplies. What's in the backpack? Tarp, tape, duct tape, check. Okay. How do we get her out? All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through the front door. We know there's a camera here, so we can't pull the car in front because we don't want the camera to see the car. So I'm going to go up first to see if I can distract, tear down the camera, whatever I can do. Then we'll pull the car up, put her in the car. Now, if it's one person, you got to think about this. If it's one person, it is very hard for one person to kidnap another adult, throw him in the vehicle, because who's driving the car? I'm pretty sure he didn't have Nancy drive. So if you were one person, that means you got to drive plus keep your eye on Nancy at the same time. And hopefully Nancy don't hit you upside the head with something, or, or jump out the car or whatever it is. So you got to have two people, because you got to have the driver and you got to have somebody there making sure she is being watched. Now, some people might say, well, what if she was knocked out? Still, she can wake up unless the person unalived her in the house right there, and he knew that she was gone, and still picking up a body that's 150 pounds, that's hard to do. And then taking them to the car, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it is hard. That would be the only way the person will be able to drive away with her without watching her. She's got to be not breathing anymore. It has to be. So somebody had to be in the car with him to at least keep an eye on her, or a van, whatever they were driving.
Right. The city of Tucson does not have cameras that record moving vehicles. So it's unfortunate. Some people might like that, but doesn't help here.
Did you hear the El Paso airport is closed down?
Great job.
I'm Steve Doocy.
No, I did not hear the El Paso airport is closed down. I'll look into that. But yeah, so this guy said, like, even with, and it makes sense of him being vindictive, because we kept getting misinformation when this first happened. Do you remember when this first happened? What did they tell us? They said there was signs of forced entry. That was out. That came from the sheriff's department. There's signs of forced entry. Then it changed to, oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say there was no signs of forced entry. I don't know where that came from. But there's a back door that was left wide open. The timeline changed. When Tommaso and Annie showed up in the morning, that changed. That whole hour that people were wondering, I worried. I was like, why did it take him an hour to call the police that she's missing if there's blood everywhere? What took him an hour for? The timeline changed. That whole hour vanished now. There's a multiple things. So And then when Ashley Banfield came out and she's the one who reported about Tommaso being a prime suspect. She's the one who reported that. And he even kind of took a shot at her, a little blow during the press conference. So I think this is a reason why we're not even getting a press conference no more. I don't think we're getting one because of that reason. First of all, everything keeps changing. Second of all, like he said, vindictive. So he's like, oh, y'all want to act like this? I'm not giving y'all any more information. I'm not doing nothing. Let's go with, I have something that Brian Enton was talking about too, as well. And then I got some stuff that Julia sent me. We know what kind of backpack it is. We know exactly what kind of backpack it is now. Let me go into what Brian Enton said earlier. Where's his at? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, actually, before we even get into that, I almost forgot about this. Take a look at this.
There is new video, we are told, is on the FBI's radar in the Nancy Guthrie case. And it could be important, but we know it is in play. This video was shot at 1:52 in the morning at a home 5 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house. You see a man in the video both wearing a backpack and holding a backpack. The backpack that he is holding has reflective stripes similar to the backpack that the kidnapper was wearing at Nancy's door. It's unclear from the video exactly where those reflective stripes are located, but they are reflective stripes. And we know and reported yesterday that this is a Walmart backpack, which is fairly common. The man appears to try and open a gate at a residence, and he is unable to do it. So he leaves at 1:53. Now, timing here is critical. When you listen to the FBI last week, they said that Nancy's doorbell was disabled at 1:47. Our law enforcement sources directly connected to this case tell us that the video that they retrieved showing the kidnapper at Nancy Guthrie's door, that video was actually 2:12 a.m. Notice that when the FBI released it, they didn't give a timestamp. They didn't say when it was. But we are told by law enforcement sources it was 2:12 a.m. Where you see the kidnapper. That's the video that was retrieved. So now think about this. If the kidnapper is at Nancy's door at 2:12 a.m., and this person in this other video 5 miles away left that home at 1:53, there would be 19 minutes that person has, if that person is the kidnapper, and I stress if, 19 minutes to drive 5 miles, put on the disguise, and walk up to Nancy's door. Now, I want to really make this clear.
All right, I'm going to tell you guys something with this one. All right. Oh, man. So hold on. He said that video was 5 miles away, right? 5 miles away. So he would have 19 minutes to put on his face mask and his disguise and go from that house to Nancy's house. My question would be, what house did this camera footage supposedly come from? And why did he go from that house, which is 5 miles away, and drive all the way in a cut to Nancy's house? That would be my question. Not only that, that's not the same person. Look, how many of y'all, tell me right now, how many of you guys in here, look, not the same person? That guy was a tweaker. How many of y'all here think that's the same person? That does not match. Harvey loving attention. How many of you guys think that is the exact same person? Wait, let's go back to the footage again. Let's go back. Let's look. And if it's not the same person, first of all, why they got him bleeped out? Why they got his face? Why they got him masked? Why? I mean, because they know it's not the same. Come on, they are reaching. Look. Let's look at this again.
Stripes, and we
look
know
at this again.
At the backpack in the video from Nancy Guthrie's house. You
first of all, he's got two backpacks.
See a man in the video, both wearing a backpack and holding a backpack. The backpack that he is holding.
You know, the one thing I noticed about this camera footage that I'm realizing also too about this, Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood, almost everybody has dirt driveways. Almost everybody's got dirt or rock driveways. Look where he's at. It's all concrete. Look at all the cars in the back. It's all concrete. So of course this guy's 5 miles away. He's not even in the same neighborhood. So why would he go from this house to the dirt roads and his arm stumble? Come on. Oh my God. Oh my God. No way the same person, not the same. He is an old man. The backpack man has been cleared, so he's been cleared. Thank you. I mean, come on. Come on. Like, oh my God. And did you guys hear about the new note that was sent? The new note that was sent. Where is it at? Where is it at with the new note that was sent? Hold on, guys. Just for people that have not heard about the new note. Okay. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to tell you what Brian Enton said. This is Brian Enton right here.
On that glove.
They're going to get into Brian Enton.
Cybersecurity analyst Morgan Wright and also former FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffendaver. I appreciate you both coming on. Morgan, I'll start with you. How soon before we get test results
notes are probably the sheriff.
You know, they're considering the notoriety this case has, they're moving heaven and earth right now. So it would depend on which laboratory they took it to, but suffice it to say, even if they had to go to Quantico because they wanted special equipment, that got flown out there. It's getting tested. So you might have something within
Wonder Woman. What's going on?
I would say, you know, and so on the glove, you know, they're not
valued member, also value mod, just like Julia.
Evidence to thin tissue with the skin. You're also looking for, was there any vegetation consistent with what was at Nancy's house that's not consistent with where the glove was found? And then the other thing, it was hard for me to see, but you know, when you take gloves off, what do? You pull them off and turn them inside out. Was this glove turned inside out? Or was it just thrown on the road? Because, you know, you're looking, it's either connected and it's legit, it's noise, it's just unrelated, or it's misdirection. I hate to say misdirection, but with some of the notes we've been getting, and the latest one that the guy wanted 1 Bitcoin to, quote, rat the guy out. At this point, you have to put extra scrutiny on every piece of evidence you find and constrain it and make sure it's connected to the case before you actually give it any kind of importance.
Jennifer, let's play that out for a second. Let's say they get a hit back on one or several people on this glove.
I don't even think the glove belongs to the person, y'all. I don't think they wasted all that time to do all that and just toss the 1 pair of gloves out the window on the road. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not. But you know what I'm doing with the evidence? You know what I am personally going to do with all that stuff? I'm burning it. It is getting destroyed. You go through all that work to mask up, double glove up, just to toss something out the window? No. I personally don't think they did it. I actually think maybe somebody did it on purpose. That I could see.
What do they do next? Because that's not the end of the story. How do they investigate these individuals? What does that investigation look like?
So now they're going to try and get DNA off the glove. And if the person has a criminal record, You know, they're going to try and match it because when you have a criminal record, you got to take your fingerprints, DNA. You're in the system for life, especially if you've ever been to prison. You're in the system for life. So if you ever do something, they always have your DNA, right? But even if you don't have a DNA record, what they use now is genealogy, like 23andMe, Ancestry.com. That's what they do now, because even if you didn't take the test, one of your relatives probably took that test. And that's how they connect. That's how a lot of these serial killers are getting caught now.
Well, when you look at this, and I'll only add that there could also be arm hair, there could also be sweat. There's all sorts of different types of DNA that could be on that. And of course, Nancy's blood that could connect. But just say with your hypothet that there
I see y'all talking about the Epstein files. We are going to get a little bit into that too with this.
Genealogy. If that individual
I
doesn't
see y'all
go back to a CODIS database, that's going to be the route they take, Jesse.
By the way, Brian, I'm glad you're staying with us. I was getting rid of you too quickly. I have to ask you this question. I'm happy you're with me. Do you know if they searched those Catalina foothills before this? Because I'm wondering, right? Why are they finding the glove
Donna
now?
says,
okay, maybe they were looking for some.
Donna says, I don't think Nancy was kidnapped. Some people, you're not the only one. I'm getting emails of people saying they don't think she was actually ever kidnapped either. So you are not the only one.
Something after that video came out of the suspect. Have they been looking at those foothills before? Do you know?
They have. They've had helicopters up. The deputies searched initially, but nothing like what we saw over the last 2 days. I mean, there was a cavalry of new FBI agents that arrived here in Tucson over the last 2 days, dozens and dozens of more agents. So the sense I get is they're putting those people to work researching areas again that they've already searched.
You know what I don't
do it.
You know what I don't get?
Have enough people.
You know what I don't get?
It's a massive area. Each house here is on 1 to 4 acres. So like
Brian N just said they don't have enough people. You know what I don't get? Every other missing case that or missing person case, and I could bring them all up. The person's missing. There's been organized search parties. Have you guys realized there's been no organized search parties? I haven't seen one. Have you guys heard of an organized? And I'm not talking about the police and FBI. I'm talking about with regular citizens, the neighborhood getting together, and we actually see them in the woods and the mountains looking for Nancy. Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen any organized search parties? Just of regular people looking for Nancy? I haven't seen it. The reward did increase. They increased the reward today to 100K. And I think probably after they got that letter, they increased the reward to 100K. They should have started with 100K a long time ago. They should have started with 100K a long time ago. That should have been the first thing they started with, was 100K. It's almost like Nancy's not even important to these people. If my mom go missing, let me be worth millions of dollars. Let me be worth millions of dollars and my family go missing. Let somebody in my family go missing and I got millions of dollars, or I got millions of assets or something. Oh yeah. I'm fishing out money. $1 million right here to find $1 million that leads to my family member. And you know what? And I shouldn't say this, but another million gonna be a bounty on the person's head who did it. On the person's head who did it. $1 million on his head. That's me though. That's me. I shouldn't be condoning any of that, but hey.
Like for example, at Nancy's house, they've searched around the house before, but they came back again today. I would imagine where they found the glove, they've probably had the helicopter up in that area before, but to actually do a ground search, I just don't think they had the resources before.
And I appreciate you say that, because I've seen in a number of cases before where a body can be found, where a piece of evidence can be found, even though it was searched 1 time, 2 times, it can be searched a 3rd time, and something ultimately might be found, particularly in an area like this where it is so dark at night. Jennifer, I want to go back to you.
Now, there's a video, Brian Enton.
Hey guys.
He's talking about how he's spoken with investigators and detectives there, and nobody knows who's in charge. They don't know who's in charge.
Thanks so much for checking out my show. I really, really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. Really appreciate all your support.
Oh, wait.
I am here.
I just saw, hold on. I just saw a comment right here, and I want to. The sheriff is holding back evidence from the FBI. Imagine. It's funny you said that because I was just reading this text message right here. A federal source has confirmed this reporting from Reuters to me. Arizona sheriff blocks FBI from key evidence in the Guthrie case. U.S. law enforcement official says. See if we can, hopefully maybe we can get the camera to zoom in. There we go. Y'all see that? It's funny you left that comment. It's funny you left that comment. Hold on, let me switch this to this screen so you guys can see it even better. A federal source has just confirmed, this is reporting from Reuters to me, Arizona sheriff blocks FBI from key evidence in the Guthrie case. U.S. law enforcement official says. So if he's really blocking evidence, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? Y'all tell me, why do you think the sheriff is doing this? A federal source has just confirmed this is reporting.
Who does that in today's world? Who does that? Yet they get by.
And then I also have this that was just sent to me too. It says, here's Sheriff Chris Daniels in 2016, angry at the FBI for, hold on, its investigation into a RICO case. Okay. Here's Sheriff Chris Daniels in 2016, angry at the FBI for his investigation into a RICO case. Let's see if this says anything.
Upset at the FBI? Absolutely. They should be. They get by with saying no comment. Who does that in today's world? Who does that? Yet they get by with that. And when this thing's all resolved and the case is all over, I challenge him. I challenge Mr. Black to stand up to that camera by himself and say, we have looked at this investigation and we have exonerated, completely find this investigation to be total BS, because that's what it is.
Well, that's him talking about the FBI in 2016. Interesting. So,
inside Nancy Guthrie's house in Tucson, Arizona. It's now day 12 since Nancy Guthrie went missing. Nancy's house is behind me. I kind of just came up here to, there's like, it's so hard to find shade here. So there's like some shade under a tree here. So I figured I would just talk to you guys here and go over all the latest developments.
Is the sheriff paid off? We all would like to know.
It seems like every day sort of starts out slow in the morning.
See if I can find this
things happen
one part he's talking about,
I guess is a good
with the
thing.
detectives. Hold on real quick.
At least what appears to be progress. Put this tent up. Basically, they would go back and look at the surveillance measurements on it. And I am told.
So right there, those measurements look like they are measuring the height of the individual when he stands next to the bricks. Because in the video, he's next to the bricks, and they can put it up and they can see exactly how tall he is.
To try and figure out the height of the suspect. So basically, they would go back and look at the surveillance photos and videos, and then use this forensic height board to try to determine how tall the person is. I'm also wondering if they were possibly looking at blood, doing more testing on the blood, covering that area because rain is coming. But that doesn't appear to be the case because within a couple of hours, they took the tent down and
he talks about.
The most interesting thing that I noticed was the forensic height board, which again would indicate that they were trying to figure out the February 2nd, 2026. So they are looking for any video now going all the thing is 1 minute
yes,
2026. Everything. I just like to remember.
Forgot about this.
That, you know, this woman is loved.
So now they're looking for video. They're looking for video. Okay. I forgot about this. I wrote this down in my notes. all the way back to January. So this means that they feel that Nancy Guthrie, somebody was either surveillance her, stalking her, or something since January, because now they're looking for video from January. I'm wondering why from January. We're going to get into that though.
Is going through right now. So I want to read you the latest update from the Pima County Sheriff's Office that just came out a little while ago. They are saying investigators are requesting all video footage that includes vehicles, vehicle traffic, people, pedestrians, and anything neighbors deem out of the ordinary or important to our investigation from January 1st, 2026 to February 2nd, 2026. So they are looking for any video now going all the way back to January 1st, well before Nancy went missing. An alert was just sent via Neighbors app to users within a 2-mile radius of Nancy Guthrie's residence near East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue. And I'll put the link below, but there's a link where you can submit this video. It says investigators are reviewing all videos submitted by neighbors, including any new ones that come in. So again, they're now going back all the way to January 1st, 2026. So well before Nancy went missing, looking for any video that anybody thinks is unusual, which is interesting. They're trying to see, obviously, if this person has been in the neighborhood before.
So January 26th. I also heard January 1st. Is Julia still in here? When was that electrician? When was he done with the electric work at Nancy's house? If Julia's in here, let me know. What date was he done? Remember the electrician that signed off on the documents that you sent me? Because we have documents, okay, of electrician that was doing something at Nancy's house and needed a permit for, and he was done in January.
The other interesting thing is one of the neighbors out here told us that when the detective came to their door looking for ring video, they specifically asked for video from January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight. Why they were zeroing in on that specific time, January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight, I don't know, but that is clearly a time frame that they are also interested in, that they didn't put out publicly, but that is what one of the neighbors told me. Let me go back to the latest release from Pima County Sheriff. The Pima County Sheriff's Department periodically uses the Neighbors app to contact residents with home surveillance cameras. Requests will come from Pima County Sheriff's Department with a blue check mark. Guys, yesterday, I mean, there's dozens of FBI agents out here now searching. They were back in Nancy's yard yesterday, in the side yard.
I'm going to fast forward this a little bit so I can see the part where he's actually talking about nobody knows who's in charge.
It says, in terms of notes, the FBI is handling all aspects related to any reason, notes, or comments from the same email they received yesterday, which is someone saying that they know who had some notes. TMZ is reporting that they've received another note from the same email they received yesterday, which is someone saying that they know who has Nancy Guthrie.
So TMZ supposedly got another email, okay? TMZ supposedly got another email. I don't know if you guys heard about this today, and the person was asking for 1 Bitcoin. Just 1 Bitcoin. They're asking for 1 Bitcoin. And in return for the Bitcoin, they're going to tell you or tell TMZ or whoever they know who did this to Nancy. They're asking for 1 Bitcoin. Now, that person, they never replied to that person, right? They never replied. So then the person sent a second note or a second email, okay, to TMZ saying, you guys aren't taking me serious. Nobody's contacted me. I'm asking for 1 Bitcoin because if I give up the information, I need financial or some funds so I can get up out of town. It's pretty much what they're saying, because now their life is in danger, which could be believable. Hey, that's believable. I said this in my last video. Whoever tells on these people, they need some money because they might have to get up out of town. All right. We see what the police are doing out there already. We see how, so can you trust them that they're going to keep you safe? I mean, if you go missing, are they going to find you? But do we know if that's real? Or is this person just trying to get one Bitcoin? Just one. He just wants 1. Now, 1 Bitcoin right now is, hold on, what's 1 Bitcoin worth? Let's see. It changes all day long. Let's see. Bitcoin. Let's see. What is one Bitcoin worth right now? One Bitcoin is $66,534 right now. Okay. One Bitcoin is $66,534. That's what one Bitcoin is worth at this moment. Like I said, it always changes. As you see this little graph down here, it changes all the time. 5 days ago, it changed. 1 month ago, it changed. It always changes. So he just wants one Bitcoin. And it's funny because now the FBI is talking about, oh, we raised the reward to $100,000. So I wonder if they did that in a response to this guy asking for one Bitcoin, because one Bitcoin is worth more than that $50,000 reward. So I'm wondering if that's what it is. Not only that, I don't know if you guys knew this or not too. How they do the rewards for these cases, all these rewards, right? Rewards for Crime Stoppers, rewards for all that. You know, sometimes you might not even get the reward. Now, it's supposed to be if it leads to an arrest, right? But some people have called in some information and has led to an arrest and never got the reward. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but hey. So this guy said, I want my Bitcoin because I want to be guaranteed I get my money.
And they're asking for Bitcoin also. Look, I'm skeptical of these notes. They could be real, but the fact that they're being sent to TMZ and, you know, there's obviously people trying to take advantage of the situation. We already saw the...
Where do you look that up, Ray? The Bitcoin price? All you got to do is go into Google. Just go into Google and you can put Bitcoin price or current Bitcoin coin price. And it'll show you right then and there. That's the easiest way to do it. And that way you always know how much the Bitcoin is worth. Last summer, it was worth like $80,000, $90,000 when Bitcoin was actually a 90,000. I think it even touched 100K at one point.
One arrest. There's people trying to take advantage of the situation and make money off of all of this. So I don't know. Could they be real? Yes, I'm sure police are looking into it. The FBI is looking into it, but I don't know what I make of these TMZ notes. They're saying there are no press briefings scheduled at this time. Sheriff Nanos is not conducting one-on-one interviews.
You're right. That's how they word it, and they said, and it must lead to a conviction. You're right. It must lead to a conviction.
Interviews and remains the sole department spokesperson. Should a significant development occur, a press conference will be called, and you will be notified via email and our X account. Also, I'm learning, remember we told you yesterday about the glove that was found off of the main road here about 1.5 miles from Nancy's house. It actually is a pair of gloves, I'm told, like two, you know, a set, 2 gloves. And it's a main roadway. That's the other thing. You know, it's not just like a side street like where Nancy lives. It's a main roadway, and it was a search team that found it right along the road. And you're going to hear in my interview in a second with the former SWAT team member and former deputy who's worked in this area in this county for decades. But he's skeptical of these gloves, and I think I am too. I mean, they could be real. They bagged them. They sent them off for testing. They could be connected, I mean.
So I'm not the only one
skeptical
of the gloves. Not the only one.
And they hadn't been spotted for 11 days makes me skeptical. And also that those black gloves are used in so many different ways. I mean, one of the guys that here was telling me, oh, I use those exact gloves for barbecuing. My friend who's a cook said I use them, you know, at the restaurant. Hairdressers use them. Auto mechanics use them. People using chemicals doing work inside houses and construction use them. So, and also, would the suspect have just thrown the gloves out on the side of the road, especially on a main highway like that? So I'm skeptical that they're actually going to be connected, but it is possible.
I just said the same thing when he just threw the gloves away on the highway.
Doing testing on them, so
said the same thing.
We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Something else interesting, and I've started to, you know, get to know people in local law enforcement here and been making sources on the ground, and I've been asking, is the local sheriff in charge, or is the FBI now in charge? And I actually asked it at the last press conference, if you guys remember. I asked the sheriff that, and he
Listen to this
just
part.
beat around the bush and said, "Oh,
pay attention.
You know, it doesn't matter who's actually in charge. We're all working together." But it seems like a legitimate question because a lot of people have been criticizing the sheriff about the way he handled the investigation, especially in the beginning. And there has to be someone in charge. And I haven't been able to get an answer. But what's interesting is I was talking to some of the people who I've met here in law enforcement, and they were saying that even investigators who are working the case don't know exactly who's in charge, which is somewhat alarming to think about. And there's got to be one of those agencies has to be the lead. I'm guessing it's still the sheriff's office and that the FBI is still technically assisting, although it seems in many ways the FBI is handling some aspects of this case by themselves, like, for example, what the sheriff's office put in their latest press release saying that with the ransom notes, that just goes to the FBI. But I just found it really, really telling that the sources that I've made said even investigators working the case don't know who's actually in charge.
Bingo. The workers who are on the ground, the investigators, the detectives, the police, they don't know who's in charge. Is that a problem? Do you think that's I think that's a big problem. It should be a leader, right? It should be a person that's leading this whole thing. But they don't know. So you mean to tell me they don't know who to report to? They don't know this whole thing is turning into a big joke. Once TMZ got involved, this thing just went downhill. Just no breaks. Just we're literally watching some sort of reality TV show right now, and we're just in season 1, episode 7 on Netflix that we're all watching. A free subscription to this new Tubi movie that we're all watching right now. So I don't blame if some of you guys wonder if Nancy's even really missing or really gone. I do not blame you. I will not argue with anybody if you sat there and you said to yourself, you know, I don't even think this is real. I would not blame you because there's a lot of fake going on. Sheriff says this one moment he says this. Oh, now they got some video with the guy at the front door all of a sudden. Now they can get the video. Oh, they ain't got no other video, I guess. If they do, they're not telling us. Supposedly, this is also the backpack that he has, okay? Let me show you this. This is supposedly the backpack. They're saying that's the backpack that he was wearing, all right? They're saying that's the backpack. That's what they're saying. How it's got the reflector right there. That's exactly what they're saying. So TMZ is a joke. TMZ is known for celebrity gossip. That's what they're known for. Yep, The Truman Show. Yep. It seems like we're watching in real life something right now. Hold on. Actually, let's see what this has to say.
Guthrie's front door. That backpack identified as a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack backpack, which confirms what TMZ founder Harvey Levin said to us last night here on the show about the backpack. The FBI is also releasing images of what a similar backpack looks like. And it comes as TMZ has now received another email from someone who claims to know who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie, purporting to be the same person who had sent them an email prior. Harvey Levin is now out front. He's obviously been breaking news from the beginning of this and received the initial ransom note. So, Harvey, the FBI coming out tonight and confirming the backpack model that you reported here 24 hours ago. You were very specific that this was an Ozark Trail hiker pack because you guys had gone and done the boots on the ground reporting at Walmart. Turns out you're right.
Yeah. The problem with that is it's a pretty common backpack and it sells a lot. So I'm actually more interested in this holster because I think the holster is so unique because the type of gun that he had in that holster is not the type of gun that gun you typically carry. So I really think that there is something
They were right
there
at the back. He was right at
that
the
maybe
backpack.
a gun range or somebody, maybe a gun store, would have kind of seen that holster and been surprised at the kind of gun that was in it. So the backpack, maybe somebody, will have a lead on that. But I think that holster is really important.
Interesting. So there's the whole backpack thing. So now, of course, they're probably going to be pulling over everybody with that backpack. You know how many people got that backpack probably from Walmart? Oh my God. That narrows it down, right? It narrows it down. Yes, Steve Harvey is a lawyer, or Steve Harvey. I'm sorry, not Steve Harvey. Yes, Harvey from TMZ is a lawyer. He is a lawyer. I don't know what kind of lawyer. Harvey is loving being relevant. You know what's funny? If you think about it, for you guys that know about the David case, the David situation, they found the 13-year-old girl Celeste in the trunk of David's car. Who was reporting on that nonstop? TMZ. TMZ nonstop. Holster was a joke. Yes, that holster did not fit the weapon. I noticed that right away. The holster did not. The two things I noticed from that video. The first thing I noticed was the backpack. The backpack was not empty. It was full. I mean, we got to see all angles of that backpack. It was full. That right there told me he was not there to steal nothing. Nobody goes to a house to go steal stuff with an already full backpack, because where are you going to put things? Nobody goes to a house to steal stuff with a backpack that's already full. It doesn't work that way. They need as much room as they can if they planning on stealing something. So when I saw that full backpack, I was like, oh, he's got supplies in there. He's got gear. He's got supplies. I guarantee you what was in that backpack. Some sort of tarp or plastic. Okay? And for those of you guys that watch Dexter, that's to help with any splatter, to help, even though there was in there. But just in case something went wrong, that's what that was for. He probably had some tape, some rope, and maybe another weapon. Since he had the one on the front, he probably had something else in the back too as well, because that was a full backpack. And you know another thing he probably had in the backpack? Another thing that nobody's talking about? A change of clothes. A change of clothes. I guarantee you in that backpack, he had a change of clothes. He was not driving down the street with a mask on with that same sweater. You know how I know? So, for you guys that know my story, for anybody that's new in here and just now signed up to Fugitive TV, the reason why it's Fugitive TV is because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I was on the run for 15 years. All right. Back in 2003-ish, around that time, I was in Colorado and I started kind of a roundabout way because I needed money, which was an idiot move on my part, but I started a big car theft ring. And this car theft ring, we weren't taking cars from your driveway we weren't doing that. What we were doing was taking cars from dealerships, and the cars didn't even make it to the lot to be sold yet. The dealerships were in on this, okay? And the dealerships had cameras. So late at night, there would be a spare key left for us somewhere, and we would go into the lot, get the spare key after they're closed, and grab the cars, and we would go in a certain outfit because we knew there's a camera, and then once we got further, we would change. And guess what? We had a backpack with us with clothes to change. And then we would take the car to the destination, get paid for it like that, and come back. That's how I know this man had a change of clothes in that backpack, and that's why it was full. man or a woman, whoever it was, they had a change of clothes in that backpack. Then I noticed the holster. I was like, hold on, he's got a semi-automatic in the holster. It looked like a Glock. And a holster that was meant for a 6-shooter. So it looks like to me, and he was right-handed the way it looked like to me he didn't have a regular holster for it, but he used that holster, which I don't know who knows where he got that from, just so he could pull it out quick in case something happened. That's why that was there. That's why it wasn't in his pocket. It's not in his belt like you see, in the movies and carrying your belt in your waist. Because when it's in your belt, sometimes you got to do all this. It's hard to pull out. But it's right there in the front. You can easily just pull it out if something happened. Karen said, wow, you led a fascinating life. If you only knew. If you only knew. Actually, where is it at? Where is it at? I do have Karen, make sure you follow, because a lot of people know I got a book that's just about done coming out, and it's got my whole life of everything I've done. I was showing it to somebody to copy, so I don't know where it's at. But Ray, you look younger than you really are, I'm guessing. Oh, let's take a while. Yeah, how old do you guys think I am? That's the case. How old do you think I am? Take a guess. How old do you think I am? I did this in 2003, 2004 about it. So how old do you guys think I am? Let's go with that. Let's see. Do you think it's two different people in the pictures? That part, I don't know. I don't know if it's two different pictures. Now, I do think it was two different people there. It might even have been three people. I think that guy that was at the front of the door, you want to know what I think? I think the guy that was at the front of the door, why he was at the front, I think somebody was already in the house. I think somebody was already in the house. That's why he was so calm when he walked up to the front door. They already had the house secured. They said the back door was left open. Remember they said that. The back door was left open. So I'm thinking that they went to, hold on, let me show you something. Let me show you something real quick. Let's see if I can find something. Let me show you. So that way you guys can see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see.
We shift back now to Arizona.
All right, I'm going to show you guys this real quick.
Right.
Let's go to a close-up of this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Hold on. All right. Watch this. You guys let me know what you observed right here. This is something you're going to get with me that you might not get with other people, because unfortunately, 20-something years ago, I had to pay attention to this stuff, and I got to talk with people. When I got locked up, I got to talk with people who actually did things like this and learn from them. And they would tell you, oh, this is how I got caught. This is what I did wrong. This time they might have did this 20 times and on the 21st time got caught or whatever. So you sitting there, you're listening to them, you talk. It's the only person you have to talk to. So I have experience of listening to these people, and this is what I peeped out. Check this out. Look.
Which I had reported earlier is that the ring, here we go. This is.
What do you guys see? What do you guys see right there? What do you see? Tell me what you see. Oh, we got a lot of people guessing my age. Hold on real quick. A lot of people guessing my age. Oh. TJ's close. TJ, I'm 47 years old. I'll be 48 this year. I'm 47 years old. I got kids who are in their 20s. Matter of fact, my 21-year-old daughter might be coming back home. If you guys know how that is. But in this video right here, let's put you guys through training. Let's put you through training. Let's put you through training. Yep, 47. I am 47. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. You know what that comes from? I was never a drug user and I didn't drink a lot and I was always athletic. I think that's why. And not only that, I'm always happy. I always got a smile on my face. You never see me depressed. So I think that's what keeps me looking young. I'm not sure, but I think so. No, I am not. But I bet Box Life is younger than me. I get it. I get it. I get it. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Unbox Life of Lori. Lori says, when I said, what do you guys see in this picture? She said, I see bars. Bingo. So Lori said, I see bars. She's got a door with bars, right? She's got a door with bars. Who is breaking in the front door with bars? Why is nobody talking about that part? They all want to talk about the blood on the floor. They all want to talk about he ripped the camera off. But nobody's talking about how he actually got in. How did he get in with the bar? The door. Think about Nancy literally probably would have had to open the door. Or he would have had to been a master pick locker and pick the lock, which is possible. But once he picks that lock, now he got to pick the other lock. Or see that glass on the side? Possibly could have broke the glass. But as you see, the glass is not broken. Glass is not broken. But they told us there was a back door open. They told us there was a back door open. So as soon as I saw that video of that man with the backpack and with the weapon that does not fit the holster, walking up there calmly, nonchalantly, looking like he's about to knock and looking for, and he's like, the ring's not over here. Oh yeah, the doorbell's over here. Oh, let me walk back over here and grab some flowers and cover this up right here while I take it off. I'm willing to bet you that somebody was already inside the house. They went through the back and he went to the front to take the camera off. Why? To get Nancy out the front door to go to the car. Why? Look. Let's go to the front of the house. Now you see the front of the house? You see that? The driveways are U-shaped. It's a U-shaped drive-through. And I've been saying, if it was me, that would be the easiest way to get out with the car and Nancy. Straight out through the door, through the stairs, because her blood dropped there, right? Her blood dropped right there. So we know that's how she exited. Down the stairs into the car. The car takes off. Look, right here. Charlie's right on point. The other guy opened the back door and went to open the front door. Now we're thinking. Yes, the front door was open too because they opened the door to get her out. So even in the Tepe case, They never told us how the guy actually got inside. And we're probably not going to find out until it goes to trial. We're probably not going to find out until it goes to trial. Because we're all still wondering exactly how he got inside, right? Robin says, oh, yes, you got it. What explains him standing in the front door area. What about the garage? Now, we do know the garage was on a smart security system. I have a smart security system here at my house. So if you notice, remember the timeline. The timeline said the garage door opened up at this time and then closed at this time. So they know that. So it makes me wonder, whoever did this, right? They probably already knew there was no subscription on the camera. They knew she had a camera at the front door. So did they know about the garage door and the timing and it's a smart? Did they know exactly how all of that works, if you get what I'm saying? Because if they got there and they went through the garage, now the police have an exact time when that garage door opens up and they carry Nancy through the garage. They have an exact time. Not only that, it also would make it harder for the suspect, perpetrator, wherever you want to call this person or people, to get away. It would make it harder for them to get away. Let me see if I can find an aerial view. Hold on. Let me see if I can find an aerial view of her house so I can give you a great explanation of what I mean. Hold on real quick. What was her address? What's Nancy's address? Let's see if I can find an actual aerial view for you guys. Here we go. So you guys can see what I mean. And then you guys can look at it like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get what he's saying. All right. I'm bringing it up on maps. Let's go over to her house. All right. This is her house, right? Wait, that's not her house. Whose house is that? Okay, no, her house is here. They gave me the next door neighbor's house. Somebody actually put the address in for the next door neighbor's house as hers. That's messed up. All right. Let me take this off the front screen, a comment, so you guys can see what I mean. So you see what I mean by there's that U shape. Now, if you guys can see the arrow, hold on, let me go over with the arrow. If you guys can see my arrow, okay? Source. Oh, somebody's texting me. Hold on, making sure it's not any updates. All right. Well, if you look at the house, I don't think you guys can see my arrow, but if you look at the house, okay, yeah, you guys can. It's right there. The arrow was right in front of the garage. Okay, the arrow is right in front of the garage, meaning if somebody was to pull a car there, you only have one way to escape. You only have one way out. One way out. So your best bet would be to back in probably, which means you would have to spend time to reverse back into the house to the garage. If police showed up or somebody showed up, all they have to do now is block this off. You're not going nowhere. You're done. You're not going nowhere. But it's much easier for you to pull your car in and go through the loop, have her walk down steps, get in the car, and now take off. Not only that, if a cop comes, it's got to be two cops to block you off. If one cop came, that cop has to decide which part of the driveway he's going to come in at. So if the cop came in on the front, all they got to do is reverse it and go out. If the cop came in through the back, all they got to do is go forward. Get what I'm saying? So now they have multiple ways they get in and out of the driveway. So from the start, I felt that they never went up to the garage and did that because I wouldn't have done it that way. And I felt that somebody went through the back door and opened up the front door. Why that other guy was nonchalantly, patiently taking off the front camera because he knew nothing was wrong. Front camera's gone. Okay, let me get the car and pull it up. Let me get the car now and I'll pull it up. Because people, we can hide our faces from the camera all day long. We can throw a mask, gloves, as you see he did, and hide from the camera. But we can't hide a car from the camera. There's no mask to put on the car. So if it's a white Toyota pulls up and the camera's there, even if you took it down, we know they're looking for a white Toyota now. If it's a white van, a black van, if it's a Mercedes, we know we're looking for something now. I was looking at if any of these updates are worth mentioning. Make sure you guys please like and share. I love you guys for being in here. Barbara says sister knew they were doing it. Maybe she was there. Now, you guys heard about the guy they pulled over, right? You heard about the guy they pulled over and questioned him? You guys heard about that? Do you think that man has anything to do with it? Do you think he has anything to do with this? Or you think he's just innocent and random? See here. Let me see if I can pull him up. Pull him up real quick. All right.
Back to you.
This guy right here. Just in case for somebody who hasn't seen it, okay?
Your girl, your child.
I don't want to speak.
Yeah.
Oh, they gave it back to you. So
Yeah, it's like.
and they said you can go home.
Yeah.
And how did they treat like the people you were with? Your girl, your child.
I don't want to speak.
Yeah, no, understood.
Yeah.
How's your family? They
Well, they're all
scared
in
everybody.
shock.
I was gonna say they scared everybody, huh?
Yeah, they're all in shock right now.
Did they damage the house when they came in? What did they do?
They broke the doors. What else, man? The garage door in the back. Yeah.
Hold on, let's take a look at this other one
How
too.
did they come up on you?
I don't know.
Like what? Were you just driving around?
Yeah, working.
Yeah, they said you're delivering DoorDash.
GLS.
Oh,
How'd they pull up on you? Like,
Nah, I pulled up on them. They were following me. Yeah, they were following me. Marana. This is Santa Cruz County, and Marana was down here. It's like, come on, 2 and 2.
and so then when they came up on you, what did they say? Like, what when they finally told you this had to do with some kidnapping? Like, what were you thinking?
Like, what the f am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like, I'm innocent.
and you don't even know who the lady is. Do you know who Savannah Guthrie is?
No.
Nothing.
I don't follow the news.
Right.
I don't watch.
You don't watch the Today Show.
No.
So this was a complete shock.
It was.
So what are you gonna do now?
I don't know. Try to clear my name. I didn't do anything.
Well, this is one thing.
I mean, do you think this man had anything to do with it? Anything whatsoever? What could he have been a lookout? Could he have been part of the operation? Why did the police even target him to begin with? Why did they even target him to begin with? You got to ask yourself that question. Why was he even targeted to begin with? Now, I did bring this up, and I think it was my last video about how police work when it comes to pulling people over. So this guy did a couple interviews. He did more than one interview. I think he did 3. All right. Now, Cat's Meow said, I think someone called with a tip. So this is what police sometimes do. Okay. So they took all their stuff. First of all, supposedly they had no search warrant. I don't know if this is true or not, but supposedly they had no search warrant, went in the house and just ransacked everything, almost like ICE does, right? Supposedly they took their cell phone and things like that. Now, I do know this is one thing they do, okay? Now, he said they were following him. He didn't get pulled over. They were following him. Then I guess maybe he pulled over because he's like, hey, what are these sheriffs following me for or whatever, right? So he pulled over. Police sometimes will pull you over or follow you when they think that, you know, you're a suspect in a certain case or whatever. And a lot of times they'll do it, especially if they have digital evidence. Now, I'm not saying this man has digital evidence, but in cases before, the Brian Kohlberger case with the Idaho 4, you know, the guy that unalived the 4 kids, and some people think he didn't do it, but the guy who unalived the 4 kids, college students. If you remember, they pulled him over going to his parents' house out of state with his father in the car. And they pulled him over because they had record of his cell phone pinging at the crime scene when it happened. So when they pulled him over, they wanted to see if his cell phone is the same cell phone that pinged at the crime scene. So when they pulled him over, they got to see a record of his cell phone pinging where they pulled him over at. The Kata Scott case that I've been covering out in Philly, the exact same thing. The last person that saw her alive, okay, was a guy named Keon King. Keon King is currently locked up right now, awaiting trial for that. But he's the last person that saw her alive. And his phone pinged to all these different locations and her work. Right after all that, before he got arrested, they pulled him over as well, just to see if his cell phone will ping. His cell phone pinged and he got arrested. I think it was like 4 or 5 days later after they put all that evidence together. So I'm wondering if they're trying to do the same thing with this guy. I'm wondering if that's what they're trying to do. Victoria, thanks for the super chat. She says, solve the case. Fugitive. Nancy Guthrie was a radical neglected by family. Ooh, and you know what? Victoria, I tried not to get too much on the political side, but I must say, after looking at Nancy Guthrie's Facebook, her Facebook was filled of political thing. It was filled of it. Nonstop. So when I went and looked, I saw that. And speaking of political, let's get to the whole, hold on. Let's get to the whole Epstein files real quick. Let's get to this whole Epstein files. Watch this. Where is this at? Let me see if I can find this for you guys. Because we all know who's watching this channel that Savannah was in Epstein files. We all know this, right? She was in there for interviewing women who were trafficked. We know that. And then there was an interview in 2011. She interviewed this woman. I forgot her name. For you guys in the chat, I forgot her name, but she interviewed the woman who gave her all this information, and the interview never came out. And then she interviewed a bunch of other groups of women. I think it was 2019. I have it in my last video. She interviewed all these women in 2019. One was Virginia. Virginia ended up taking her own life. I believe it was last year. Am I correct? She took her own life last year. Well, the Epstein files got released, and then Virginia's family is mad at it because they're saying that they didn't release all of it. That's what Virginia's family's saying. But there's something else that I realized nobody said much about, and I happened to stumble upon it. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Hold on. I happened to stumble upon it. And it happens to deal with somebody else trying to get crypto. And here we go.
Pages of documents.
Here we go. All right. Take a look at this real quick. Take a look at this real quick. Okay. And how we are talking about how some of us are saying, you know, this might be a cover up for other things. Check this out.
Related to Jeffrey Epstein, providing more information on the convicted sex offender's crimes. Among the files, claims bodies are buried near Epstein's Zorro Ranch in Santa Fe County. Tonight, the state land commissioner demanding an investigation.
I'm going to keep asking questions and keep poking around until I get an answer.
Those coming from an anonymous email in 2019 addressed to a local radio host.
Leah Chavez spoke with him and has the details of that email.
If you're talking to me.
Yeah, Doug, Shelley, we're also hearing tonight from the Attorney General's office, who says it takes these allegations seriously, but needs more information to do something about it.
Eddie Aragon says it was early in the morning in November 2019 when he got this email from someone claiming they were a former staffer at Zorro Ranch. Writing, "Did you know somewhere in the hills outside of the Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madam G. Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex."
So this guy got this random email, like how TMZ's getting and KOD is getting these random emails, right? With some information saying, hey, there's 2 girls buried on Epstein's ranch, which is in, well, I think it's in New Mexico. Yes, it's in New Mexico, which New Mexico is right next to Arizona. It's right next door. It borders it. It's right next door.
I got the email. I was startled.
The emailer says they had 7 sex videos, including some with minors, but never actually sent the footage, asking Aragon for digital currency Bitcoin.
Approximately at that time, Bitcoin was worth about $8,000. They wanted to exchange 1 Bitcoin for the videos that they had in possession.
So somebody's saying, I got videos of this and you want to give me some Bitcoin. Almost the exact same thing that's going on right now. Oh, it's very similar, right?
Aragon says he didn't know what to do with the email, so he sent it to the FBI.
I've since referred to the FBI on a number of other things, and I've never heard back from them on anything.
Fast forward 6 years later, the DOJ released Aragon's email as part of the Epstein files.
Matters. I think that New Mexicans need answers. I think the victims need answers.
That's what prompted New Mexico Public Lands Commissioner Stephanie Garcia Richard to send this letter to the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney's Office Tuesday, asking them to thoroughly investigate this disturbing.
Okay, so supposedly the letter was sent to the FBI, all right?
Allegation regarding the referenced burials.
We need to get to the bottom of really what happened in New Mexico.
She says she was horrified to learn in 2019 that our state was still leasing lands around Zorro Ranch to Epstein's company.
I canceled the leases at that time.
A month after Epstein killed himself in jail.
Now, here's the thing. Ruth does say they didn't find anything in that field, but here's the issue. They never searched the whole ranch. All that property that he owned is still being leased by companies that he owns. So they never got to search it all. But it was sent off to the FBI. FBI really didn't do much. And who's this person asking for the Bitcoin, though? Who's this person with the information asking for the Bitcoin? So it goes back to this whole Bitcoin thing again. And was it Lori that brought, Lori, you're the one that brought up the, what is the age range for Bitcoin? Like, what age range uses it the most? It's more, Bitcoin is very popular with people from that, I would say 30 to 40-ish group. Let's say in your 30s. Bitcoin is very popular with people in their 30s or whatever, right? Very popular with them. Bitcoin Bitcoin is very cryptocurrency anyways. For you guys don't know, Bitcoin is just a part of cryptocurrencies. You have millions of different coins out there. I can start a coin right now. You guys can start a coin right now. We all can start a coin, right? And then what will happen is we get all these people to buy into the coin. And that's what raises up the price of the coin. And then what people will do is they'll pull a fast one. All these people buy in, and all of a sudden you withdraw your money because your coin raised, and now the coin drops. So you have a lot of people that was pulling scams, especially around COVID. And that's how a lot of people got rich off of coins, not just Bitcoin, but all these other coins. Okay. I think is it Kim Kardashian? I think it's Kim Kardashian and Jake Paul. All of them were being sued. I'm not saying they're responsible, but all of them were being sued because they were backing up a coin. And that's what that coin did to a lot of people. Wonder Woman says, not us Gen X people, non-tech. Crypto is also a CIA op. Ooh, that's a whole different conversation. Young people know about Bitcoin now. Lori, I think you're the one that brought up the whole Bitcoin scandal going on in Arizona, right? I think you're the one that brought that up with the 2 kids. And some people are wondering if this is connected. So hold on. Let's see if I can find something on this real quick. Let's see. Bear with me, everybody. I'm trying to see if I can find this. Okay, all right.
Right now, everyone.
All right. Look at this right here, guys. Look at this.
Is keeping up with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. As we enter day 6 of Nancy's disappearance, here's a piece of crime news that I think you'll want to hear and mull over with some critical thinking. On the same day that Nancy Guthrie went missing, well, crime I'm about to tell y'all about took place on January 31st. Nancy is believed to have gone missing around 2 a.m. on February 1st. On January 31st, 2 California teens drove 9 hours to Scottsdale, Arizona. They apparently had $1,000 to use towards disguises, and they bought disguises and dressed as delivery drivers. They then approached a home disguised as delivery drivers and knocked on the door, forced their way inside, duct taped, and assaulted the 2 homeowners, and demanded $66 million in cryptocurrency. But the couple had a son in the home who was able to call
Bitcoin works for you guys don't know. I'll explain
The teenagers initially took off and escaped arrest. However, the mom of one of these teens found text messages on her son's phone talking about the disguise and even had the address of the home where the crime occurred, at which point she contacted the police in California, and they contacted the police in Arizona, and the 2 teens end up getting arrested. 2 teens are facing several felony charges for burglary, aggravated assault, and kidnapping. Besides the fact that the 2 teens were demanding cryptocurrency, which is also the case in Nancy's disappearance, the 2 teenagers claimed that they had just recently met, that they were being extorted by 2 people online known only as Red and 8, that Red and 8 organized for the 2 teens to meet up, allegedly forced them to make the 9-hour drive from California to Scottsdale, Arizona, and forced to commit this crime and told whom to commit this crime upon. And that's interesting because something like this could explain why crimes against children was seen assisting in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. So we have the cryptocurrency aspect in both the case involving the 2 teenagers as well as Nancy Guthrie's case. We also have a California aspect because the 2 teens were from California, but so is this man that was arrested yesterday for one of the ransom communications in the Nancy Guthrie case, who, while we're shaming for being a piece of shit, also has priors for stealing unemployment benefits. Do I think these 2 cases and situations are related? But it is crime news and interesting parallels for critical thinking nonetheless. Thanks for choosing facts over fuckery. If you're not, make sure to watch my stories for the latest and quickest
Give her a shout out, Miss Soho, MRS.SOJO.
crime news.
Give her a shout out. She explained that very well. So did you guys get that? You guys get that? You guys understand what's going on? And for you guys that don't know about Bitcoin, I will explain it briefly. I'll explain to you how it actually works and why people are asking for Bitcoin, how it can be untraceable. You can still kind of trace it, but how it can be untraceable if you know what you're doing. So Madison, why isn't Guthrie's hiring their own search teams and PIs? They have, didn't I say this earlier? So Madison, I said this earlier almost when I first got on my live. I said, did you notice anything with this case compared to other cases? Other cases when missing people's involved, usually you'll have search parties of regular citizens. This one, for some reason, I don't see no regular citizen out there searching. You got a bunch of people out there that are reporters camping outside the house, ordering pizza to the people's doors, but you don't have nobody outside, boots on the ground, searching through the mountains, through the forest. None of that. Why? Why? I said the same thing. So the family hired a PI. Hopefully they did. I don't see why nobody's not searching though. That's the part I don't understand. The community in the church was like, we're behind you, but nobody's behind the field searching. I don't get that. I don't get it. But these two kids, teenagers, supposedly just met and were forced to abduct somebody or try to abduct somebody and hold them for Bitcoin. Do you believe that? Now, hold on. Watch this. This is not the only time.
It's a heartbreaking.
This is not the only time something like this has happened. Watch this real quick. Now, this is a little bit different, but this is proof for any of you guys that doubt the teen stories, like, oh, no way. Anybody that doubts the teen stories, watch this. This is proof right here. This stuff happens.
It's a heartbreaking Uber shooting. An 81-year-old man shoots and kills a female Uber driver after they had both fallen victim to a phone scam. The elderly suspect in court for sentencing. Stephen Fabian has the latest.
Thank you for the super sticker,
An elderly
Victoria.
man learns he'll be spending the rest of his life in prison after being convicted in the fatal shooting of an innocent Uber driver.
The defendant's indefinite prison term is 21 years to life in prison.
Terrifying video from the Uber driver's dash cam captured the horrible killing 2 years ago. You can see 81-year-old William Brock pointing a gun at the driver. He had just shot her in the leg. The Uber driver, Lalitha Hall, was frantically trying to explain that she was there to pick up a package, but Brock shot her a total of 6 times, killing her. Brock told police that a scammer had called him threatening his family and told him that a female driver would be coming by to pick up the money. At the same time, the Uber driver was ordered by the scammer to Brock's house to pick up a package. Police say the Uber driver was completely unaware of the scheme.
So you see that? So anybody that's doubting those teenage boys' story, we just saw right here a very similar story. This happened a few years ago. The man gets a call that somebody has his loved one, and then the Uber driver gets a call to deliver a package. And the man is, they're telling the man that this person that has your loved one is coming to the door. So some people are thinking that what happened with the 2 teenage boys and them just meeting, somebody's forcing these 2 teenagers to go kidnap somebody for Bitcoin. People are thinking this could be related. Victoria, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you, Baby Lemon. She says, Baby Lemon, looking up to our Lemon character, standing in a superhero position. Thank you for that. I know that they just found a glove inside the house. No way they just found a glove inside the house, but supposedly it's news now. Where is, hold on, I just saw, here we go. John says, everyone is looking in the wrong place. Savannah is around or behind the whole entire thing. Craig says people go missing every day. Why is this one so special? Where are all the missing children and others who have gone missing? Never gets airtime. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I don't know if you saw my last video. 2 of my Nancy Guthrie videos, I did it on purpose to where I made sure I inserted some people who were missing in the middle of the video. Because now that I got people's attention, now they're going to see who else is missing. So I understand. And I said the same thing. Now, I do realize why an explanation could be because of Savannah, because she's the host of the Today Show. She works for NBC. She's been in the media spotlight since the 2000 or whatever, working for Court TV with Nancy Grace. So I understand why probably all this attention is going out, because Savannah could be making all these calls behind the scenes too. We don't know. Hey, report this for me, CNN. We don't know what could be going on behind the scenes, right? But I can see why, this is happening. But I do agree with you. Why does the media not give everybody the same attention? I definitely agree with that one. Yes, that did happen. It happened a while back, but he just got sentenced to that. And yeah, the lady kept trying to explain to him in the Uber thing, kept trying to explain to him, hey, but he was not hearing it. He was not hearing it. Yes, the Uber lady passed away. She died, unfortunately. That's why he got life. Yes. Yeah, matter of fact, hold on. Just in case they're in here, just in case, hold on. Wonder Woman says, who's a loyal member and a mod of the channel, yes, Ray, you did, meaning as in I did. I inserted people who are missing. And come to find out, one of the family members commented on my video. Hold on, where is... Let's just in case if you're in here and you're watching, as I think she followed the channel. So just in case she's in here and watching, I'm going to show this again so the world can see. Hold on. Let me see. Which one was it? Think it was this one, I think.
New at 5 tonight, Wilkes-Barre.
And you know what's sad about this? Is this it? Yeah, I think, watch, look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. Look. You know what's sad about this? Let's watch this real quick. And I'm going to tell you what is actually not the point that this young lady is missing, but watch.
New at 5 tonight, Wilkes-Barre police are searching for a missing 15-year-old girl. Linnea Clark was last seen leaving her home in South Wilkes-Barre on January 17th. Police say she is deaf and will likely have 2 black hearing aids in her ears. Anyone who sees Clark is asked to call 911.
This young 15-year-old is deaf. This young 15-year-old is deaf and has hearing aids in her ears. And she's 15. And you know how much time she got on the news? You know how much time she got? The video's over with. The video's done. Look.
New at 5 tonight, Wilkes-Barre police are searching for a missing 15-year-old girl. Linnea Clark was last seen leaving her home in South Wilkes-Barre on January 17th. Police say she is deaf and will likely have 2 black hearing aids in her ears. Anyone who sees Clark is...
She got 20 seconds. This young lady who was missing at 15 years old got 20 seconds of airtime. This young lady who was 15 years old got 20 seconds of airtime. 20 seconds. They couldn't even look. They couldn't even put her name. Let me scroll up. They couldn't even put her name in the description of the YouTube channel. And yes, now they got her name, there. But if you go to search for her name on YouTube, if you just go to search for her name, it is not here where I highlighted it in this in the description. When I do any of these videos, okay, if you notice, I usually 99% of the time always put the name in that highlighted part of the video, okay? I always put the name. You know why I put the name? So it's easier to find that person. So if somebody goes, oh, John Rafferty's missing, John Rafferty YouTube, the video pops up. And you can get the details if you need it. They couldn't even put her name in the description. They could at least gave us the state. I don't even know where Wilkes-Barre is. They could at least gave us more. They didn't say Nancy Guthrie's missing out of Tucson. They said Nancy Guthrie's missing out of Tucson, Arizona. Nancy Guthrie's missing out of Tucson, Arizona. This young lady's missing out of South Wilkes-Barre. I don't even know where that's at. So yeah, I agree with you. Why is some people, getting only 20 seconds on the local news? That's what your life is. Your life is worth 20 seconds on your local news. I don't agree with that. Nancy was hard of hearing and had hearing aids. Most people take their hearing aids out at night. You're right. You are right. And she probably did not hear them coming in. You are right. Said there is a Wilkes-Barre in PA, Pennsylvania, but I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know why. They could at least put the state. They didn't even do that in a description. Yeah, I hope she, and you know what? So says there ain't much to lure a young child like her. They can stretch it and create a narrative like they can with Nancy Guthrie. So it's in northern PA. So, okay, Lania Clark is missing out of northern Pennsylvania. Since the news couldn't tell us this, Lania Clark is missing out of northern Pennsylvania. Now it makes us all easier to be like, okay, she's in Pennsylvania. Like, at least tell us the state. Give us more than 20 seconds. But yeah, come to find out, relatives watching my channel, and the relative's like, wait, that's my niece. Relative goes, wait, that is my, oh, wait, no, it was her cousin's kid. That's what it was. Her cousin's kid. She had to watch my channel on Nancy Guthrie to see her cousin's kid get some airtime. This is crazy. So they're saying now that now they want to come out with, now they're making it public that the sheriff is withholding information from the FBI.
An interesting situation here in Arizona. I'm outside Nancy Guthrie's house. I've been reporting that there have been concerns about the Pima County Sheriff and whether or not he was cooperating enough with the FBI, whether he called the FBI in soon enough. I haven't been able to figure out who's actually in charge. And I found out today, even investigators working the case say they don't know who's in charge, if it's the sheriff or the FBI. Well, now Reuters is reporting that the sheriff's office is withholding key evidence in the Nancy Guthrie case from the FBI, which is a really big deal. And Reuters is reporting that among the evidence being withheld is there was a glove apparently that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's house that the FBI wanted to test at Quantico, which is like the best place in the world to test for DNA and that kind of thing. And instead, the sheriff sent it to a private laboratory in Florida. And I mean, if that report turns out to be true, this Reuters report, that's really, really shocking. But it does go along with sort of the vibe out here on the ground and what I'm hearing from local investigators that that the FBI should have been called in sooner and that the sheriff didn't want to do it. So I'll keep you guys posted, but I wanted to give you the latest.
So let me read this. When it's all said and done, this is going to end being cover up for the family. They will charge some innocent to take the rap. I'm actually scared that that's going to happen. I'm actually scared that some innocent guy that has nothing to do with this is going to get blamed, and then he's going to be the one going to jail. I can see that happening. I thought about this a few days ago. Some innocent guy that's sitting here watching my channel is going to get busted and raided on and going to get handcuffed and going to get blamed for doing it and probably plant some evidence. I will not be surprised if that happens. But sheriff's starting to look a little suspect, ain't he? The sheriff is starting to look a little suspect. Why did the sheriff wait so long to call in help? Why did the sheriff not let them take the glove to Quantico? I don't know if you guys know this, but Quantico's like FBI headquarters. It's FBI headquarters pretty much there. That's where they go to training. Why he send the glove down here to Florida, where I live at, to some private facility? Why they send the glove to a private facility? Not only that, if he's sending the glove here to Florida to a private facility, he probably had to pay that private facility to test the glove. Or does he know somebody? Where is the sheriff from, actually? Is he actually from Arizona? Is he from Arizona? Hold on. Where is this guy even from? He's starting to look a little suspect. So he's originally from El Paso. He's from El Paso, Texas. That's where he was born and raised. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, he had to pay that private company to do when they could have sent it to Quantico, get the best procedures possible. Sheriff is starting to look like he could have done something. Now, I'm not saying he did it, but it's starting to look a little fishy, if you ask me.
Hello. Welcome back.
Jay, he's been out there all day.
Back here in front of Nancy
at night long.
Boots on the ground, continuous coverage. What happened to 84?
All day and night long he's been out there.
Guthrie. Folks, we were live streaming. Lots of people in the chat. I believe there was 40,000 people watching on JLR Investigates. The twists and turns of this case. We were navigating through the Catalina foothills. Cell phone went.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you.
Go through these hills
for the super sticker.
Sometimes it disconnects.
You have
We
been
had to start
killing it,
back up a
Victoria.
few, but I'm
Thank you.
definitely back. We're going to continue the conversation. And we are going to go check out the glove. We're going to go look at the glove. So welcome back, folks. I'm going to plant the camera here right in front of the house again. It's still a media circus out here, but I am back. And then we'll just go in another direction.
So he's not live right now. He's actually on a break. It says breaking, but he's been out there all day, all night. Actually, I think the pizza was sent for him. The guy that the pizza man and knocked it. For you guys new to the channel, or I'm not new to the channel, but to the stream, we talked about this earlier. There was a pizza that was delivered to Nancy Guthrie's house, and the pizza man was able to walk all the way up to the front door and go to the door with the pizza. And I think a YouTuber ordered him a pizza because he's been out there all night, all day from almost the start of this. Victoria says, bad to see a child or senior citizen get hit. Nancy's age alone is why I'm following the case. Yes, we don't see too many 80-year-olds getting abducted. We don't. When's the last time you saw an 80-year-old get kidnapped or abducted? Abducted anyway. And held for ransom or whatever you want to call what's going on right now. We don't see it too much. But the sheriff is starting to look a little suspect. So JLR has a scamming history himself. Oh, does he? I did not know that. I think more people watch JLR. He does. That man had, oh my God, he had 35,000 people in his stream earlier when I clicked on it. 35,000 people was in that man's stream when I clicked on it earlier. That is outrageous. Said JLR is an ex-con. Y'all should link. I did not know. You know what? Now that I think about it, he does kind of remind. Was it for drugs? Was it for drugs? It looked like it might have been for drugs. But JLR does be on the ground though. He be on the ground. Ruth says, Ray, your merch is awesome. I ordered. Thank you so much, Ruth. Ruth also got a discount because she joined the membership. So I sent her a discount code as well. Oh, for 10 years. Dang, I didn't know. I did not know that. He did some time. I didn't know that. Wow. Well, I'm glad he changed his life around and he's doing this now, I guess. You know, glad he's doing that. Let's see if I can find. See, that's why I let it be known from the get-go, Fugitive TV, as you see. I let it know from the start. Like, hey, this is what I did. This is what I'm doing now. I actually grew up as a great kid. I was a good kid. I never got into no trouble growing up. None whatsoever. No trouble. I'm actually, I'm going out of town tomorrow to go boots on the ground for a case. So I'm going to let you guys know tomorrow what I'm going to be doing. Let me see if there's anything.
And former FBI Special Agent Ken Gray.
There's always a Special Agent FBI.
Dates,
always.
Because it's interesting, right? They want neighbors to check footage on January 31st. That makes some sense just intuitively because she went missing that night between the 31st and the 1st. But they also want neighbors to check their security cameras at a specific time on January 11th. That's 3 weeks before she went missing. So what does that tell you?
Tells you they were watching her.
Well, John, that tells me that's a timeline investigation. That's what every investigator likes to work with. They're going to take the last moment in time they know, which is when Nancy was taken from the home, and obviously they're moving forward. What happened after that? Vehicle.
Actually, I have the documentation of what was the date for it. So Julia sent me documentation. She actually found permits that were pulled. Nancy had electrical work on her house, and Julia found that out, and she actually pulled the permit and actually pulled everything. I have who signed off on it. I have everything, the dates. Let me see here if I can find it. See, is this it? Yep. So Nancy had electrical work on her house starting in September 25th. And it looks like it was done, or when it was signed off on, was January 6th. So the work was signed off on January 6th.
People, anything that
what was the date they said they were looking
at least.
Hold on.
Missing 12 days.
Oh, we missed it.
Nice.
I think they said January 11th is the video looking for. From January 11th, I should say. So some people are wondering as well if these electrical permits, the people who were involved, I guess, installing anything, was involved with this too. Yeah, Julia sent that to me, what, 3-4 days ago. She pulled that up before all the media started talking about it. She actually pulled that up, sent it to me. See what some of you guys are actually saying. I don't judge a man's past. I don't either. I can't. I can't. Well, there are some things. There are some things. I can't say I don't. If the person's a registered, SO, it might be a little different story. I might have to judge you a little bit. We like you anyway, fugitive. Thank you. Thank you. If a person is known for taking advantage of, the elderly, children, women, things, I'm sorry, I gotta judge you. I'm sorry, I have to judge you. And I know I'm gonna be judged myself sometimes, but there's even some things I gotta look at sideways, like, nah, I can't get with you on that one. Can't do it. Seems like you would definitely have an edge on solving crimes. I try my best. A lot of it really is just the experience I've been through and being around certain individuals, unfortunately, who are in that underground world and learning how they think, learning how they move, learning how they operate. You have to, here's the thing. Some people don't realize, okay? So you have law enforcement, right? We all know you have law enforcement, but then you have criminals. Obviously, you have both of these sides, right? Good guys, bad guys, whatever you want to call it. Some people might be good on one side, some people might be bad on the other. But law enforcement or whatever, right? If you really think about it, when they catch criminals, a lot of times, how are they catching them? A lot of times they're catching them because somebody's snitching. They're getting some sort of evidence of somebody telling. Nowadays, there's digital evidence. They were caught on camera. The phone's pinged. Something like that. A lot of times is what happens. And that is a lot of times how they're catching a criminal, right? Well, you have criminals that learn how not to get caught because now they have to learn how not to leave evidence, how not to be seen on camera, how not to do this, and how not to do that. And now what they're trying to do is learn how the law enforcement might think. So now they got to think steps ahead, right? So you have both of these sides trying to figure out one another or whatever. Both sides, law enforcement's trying to figure out the criminal, and the criminal's trying to figure out law enforcement or whatever. Well, I had an advantage because I grew up as a good kid. I grew up to I didn't get in trouble until I was like 21 years old. I was late. I was a good kid. But I had family who was in law enforcement. I have family who was in law enforcement. So growing up, I got to see how they worked. I got to see all that. And then when I got into my trouble and I got to see the underground world and everything else, now I got to see how both of these sides are thinking. I got to see how both of these sides are thinking and how they react to one another, to certain situations, and I think because of that experience, it helps me out a whole lot. Just the fact says being up front from the start is the best way to be about it. You are correct. I do public speaking. I go to places and I speak publicly. I've been to a few jails and I spoke publicly in the jails. 99% of them might not listen to me, but I still go and I still try. And I'm up front from the start. I'll go in there and say, hey, I was there. I was there where you were at. So yes, be up front from the start. I agree with you. That would be fun to see Ray out and about. JLR and Fugitive TV would be a crazy duo for real. Oh man, we probably would get pulled over and go to jail. They would probably pull us over. Now that let me go while we're doing on this. JLR and Fugitive TV. Yes. While we're doing this, hold on. While we're doing this, let's look at somebody else. You guys mind if I pull up another missing person real quick? Do you guys mind? I'm gonna pull up another missing person real quick because other people aren't getting no attention. So now that I have all these people in the room, there's over 400 people in here, which is very low compared to JLR. He be having 30,000, but still. Let me pull up somebody else. Who is missing? Hold on real quick. And you know what the issue is right now? The issue is Nancy Guthrie pops up everywhere. So now you really have to dig and you have to search to find anybody who's missing besides Nancy. You really have to dig and you have to search. Oh no. No.
We have an update in this.
No, I was going to do a video on this woman. Hold on real quick. Wow, I was going to do a video on this woman. I'm going to show you guys anyway. Look, I was literally going to do a video on this woman tomorrow. Yes, News Nation spotlights a person once a week. You are right. News Nation is probably one of them. They do that once a week. I think on Fridays, they spotlight a missing person every week.
We have an update in the search for a missing woman in Marinette. Investigators say 24-year-old Gabriela Cartagena has been found dead. Her body was found in the woods in Michigan. Police say she went missing last Wednesday and led to a statewide search. Officials believe she was missing against her will. Investigators say police arrested her boyfriend in Minnesota after a high-speed chase.
And as you see, she got 22 seconds. She got 22 seconds. The other girl got 20 seconds we looked at. She got 22 seconds of a little spotlight. Do you think we could have found her if she maybe had more attention on her? They said she was taken against her will. And now look what happened. She was taken against her will, and look what happened. Hold on. we have somebody that's giving her a little more time. Like I said, I just want to give some now that I have all you guys' attention, your eyes spotlighted, I just want to give some shine to some of others people who need it. Okay.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Lawrencer. First tonight, we are still waiting on more information about missing Marinette woman, 24-year-old Gabrielle Cartagena. The Marinette Police Department announcing that, quote, she has been located. That was breaking news as of around 3 p.m. today. Police did not confirm how or where she was found or her status. We are aware of a GoFundMe memorial page set up by an individual who identifies as her brother, which states that Gabrielle has passed. We've been in contact with the Marinette Police Department, which has not officially provided that update, but Gabriella no longer considered missing tonight. When more official information becomes available, we will pass that along. This ends a nearly week-long search that began when she was seen in distress near the Little River Country Club on February 4th. One individual is in custody in connection to her disappearance. Investigators had spent the last several days tracking a red Toyota Prius and reviewing community surveillance footage. They expect to release more details hopefully very soon as that investigation continues. Stay with MyUP Now on Facebook and MyUP Now.
So she went missing February 4th. When did Nancy go missing? What was the date? Nancy technically went missing the 31st or the February 1st, but her case is just outshined everybody. And I was going to do a video on this woman for being missing and her boyfriend, because her boyfriend's the one who did it. And when I read about this case yesterday, I was like, it's the boyfriend. Oh, my. Did not expect that one, you guys. Did not expect that at all.
We have an update.
That was very sad because I just read about her case yesterday. Somebody just brought it to my attention yesterday. See, there's another one I'm gonna show you guys real quick since we're on this. I promised that I would give some of these other people spotlight that need it and that deserve it. So where is she at? Hold on. Bear with me, people. I'm just looking for it. Actually,
what?
I don't know if you guys know about this one. I actually did a video on this girl. Let's see. Are they still looking for her? Let's see. I actually did a video on this girl not long ago. It looks like she's still missing too. Hold on. I want to make sure it's correct. Now, this woman was actually out of Phoenix. And she was getting some good publicity until Nancy popped up.
The search for Isabel.
So let me show you this. I actually did a video on this girl.
Comas moves to the Far East Valley.
The 21-year-old went missing from Avondale on January 11th. Her boyfriend, Tommy Rodriguez, has been indicted on charges related to her disappearance. Prosecutors say there's evidence suggesting he stole her car.
Yes, there's an update on Lupita. I will talk about
Today,
that.
the search was in Globe, and Megan Spector was there.
It's been nearly 3 weeks since Isabella Comas was reported missing. While police continue their work, the community is taking action by joining the search. Spread out across the Globe, Miami area, the search for Isabella Comas continues nearly 3 weeks after her disappearance. Community members joining a search party to help find her.
We've seen on Facebook that this girl was missing, Isabella was missing, and that there's a possibility she could be up here in our area. So we could not have a Saturday without coming and contributing our efforts to try and locate her.
We've been up to the base of all the mountains behind us back here, and as you saw, we were just walking the wash here to see if we could look down, and then we're going to head out towards wheat fields, some of the roads, dirt roads, trails out there.
Evidence has led police to Globe.
We have dirt bikes out here, side-by-sides, we have drones, we have dogs, we have specialty teams for tomorrow, if need be, for the lakes. Everyone has their own zones. From
Steve
Globe
said, I think
Miami,
they should stop wasting taxpayers' money and move on. It's a cold case.
Off the cliffs.
Strangers and close friends alike trying to find this missing 21-year-old.
Bella was my closest friend. I went from seeing her every day to just nothing. I know that I won't get the closure that I need until she's found.
Trinity tells us she reported Comas missing. Now she's among.
All right, so this woman right here, Comas, she's missing out of Phoenix, Arizona. She's been missing for a few weeks now. Her supposedly boyfriend is arrested. He's in jail. All right, so he is in jail, but they don't know where she's at. I'm gonna pull up Lupita too.
Among the many out searching for her.
I asked them personally, like, where do you think I should be looking? Like, where do you think I'm gonna get the most information from?
Divided by distance, united by a single goal.
I have 4 children and 16 grandchildren, and I would want someone to help me if my daughter was missing.
Hopefully we can find her and bring her home for the family.
The private investigator organizing today's search says there were about 100 people out here, and their search efforts will continue. Reporting in Globe, Megan Spector, Fox 10 News.
You guys see that? Did you guys hear what she just said? You guys hear what she said?
New developments are unfolding as the search for Nancy Guthrie continues. A live look at her home in Tucson where she vanished 12 days ago.
The FBI is increasing the reward.
She said there was a search party for Comas, right? But why is there no search party ever for Nancy? That's the part I don't get. Why is no search party for her? Everything about that case is odd. But yes, Comas is still missing. She's out of Phoenix, Arizona. Her boyfriend was arrested. Her boyfriend already has a violent criminal past. This guy actually did time for unaliving somebody when he was 15 years old, 16 years old. He shot through a door. Okay, they tried to rob a drug dealer is what happened. He tried to rob a drug dealer. They shot through the door. Come to find out, they killed somebody that wasn't even supposed to be involved. So he ended up going to prison. He got out of prison not long ago, and then out of prison, threatened the ex with a machete and a hammer. And then this girl gets with him, and now they get into an argument. She ends up missing. Nobody don't see her, and the boyfriend's driving around in her car. And her car, the roof liner's ripped out. There's the seat was ripped out. All kind of stuff is ripped out. And I think it's ripped out because he probably unalived her in the car. And instead of, he ripped out all the DNA evidence, you want to say. And they still don't know where she's at. Lupita. Yes, there is an update on her, and I'm going to show you right now what's going on with her. Let me get to it. Let me find it for you guys. So Lupita was missing out of Northern California. If you guys don't know the background, what happened was she was in the car with not a car, but a dune buggy. She was in a dune buggy with 4 friends, a guy and 2 other girls. The dune buggy supposed to be lost control and went into the canal. Everybody got out the canal but Lupita. The guy who was driving the dune buggy took off some sort of way because the dune buggy was left, but he took off and he ended up getting arrested later on, but he took off, left the whole scene. They found Lupita's jacket and glasses not by the canal, somewhere far away from the canal. But here is the update on that. Let me show you guys.
Sacramento.
We begin tonight with breaking news. The family of a Stockton mother who went missing after a dune buggy crash says her body has been found miles from that crash site. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for the CBS 13 News at 5. I'm Steve Large. We can start by showing you a map where this is all happening. The body of Lupita Ontiveros was found this morning. The family confirming this afternoon it happened near Whitworth Road and Cottonwood Road on the Delta Mendota Canal. She first went missing almost 2 weeks ago after a dune buggy she was riding in crashed into that canal. Now, CBS 13 spoke with a cousin who confirms the body is in fact Lupita's. The dune buggy had a total of 4 people in it, 2 women and a male driver when it crashed late last month. This is video we're showing you of the search earlier in this month. The 21-year-old driver was arrested after the crash. Merced County Sheriff's Office is investigating the situation, and the body again has been found. As investigators reveal more about the deadly crash and this update to the investigation, we will keep you updated as well. Watch us here on CBS 13 and streaming at CBS News.
The Merced County Sheriff's Office was notified of a body inside of a canal around 10:15 this morning. The discovery prompting law enforcement to reach out to Lupita Ontiveros' family. 21-year-old Lupita Ontiveros' family could be one step closer to closure. They received a call from the Merced County Sheriff's Office after the water recovery rescue team pulled a woman's body out of a canal Sunday morning.
We were hoping that it was her, so this nightmare could finally end.
Deputies believe the Stockton mother went missing after an early morning crash into the Delta Mendota Canal on January 28th.
It was really devastating to me because I would wanted to find her alive, not how she ended up, but God took her for a reason and I'm gonna respect that. And I never lost hope that we were gonna find her.
Nearly 2 weeks later, a body was recovered 7 miles downstream from the crash site.
I got here around 7 in the morning. My cousin had gotten a phone call and she looked worried, and I had asked her, oh, what was wrong? And she said that somebody went live and that they had found the body.
Every day, Ontiveros' sister, Judith, would wait here for signs. Now she thinks the person officials found is her sister.
The hoodie that she was wearing that was floating up on the top. I feel like that's just kind of what confirmed that it was her.
Judith says her family can exhale for now, as they nearly lost hope.
We just feel relieved now because we won't be with that weight against our heart.
All right, so that is what is going on with Lupita. They found her in the canal. Now, some people are still saying it could be foul play. Some people still believe it's foul play, but they found her in the canal. Very sad. Said Nancy is playing spades in Mexico. I wouldn't be shocked if she's in Mexico. I think if you guys follow me and you saw my video before, I said I think she might be in Mexico. I even gave you guys a route. I gave you guys multiple ways to get across the border. I think she could be in Mexico. I would not be shocked if she's there. And she can still be alive there as well, because if she's alive, because that's a place where that would be the only place I can think of to where they can keep her alive this long or longer without getting prescriptions filled for her medicine. Because in Mexico, you don't need no prescription. You just walk right in there and buy what you want, walk out. No questions asked, as long as you got money. Let's see here what we got going on. Donna says there's a case I would like to send you to look at one of my friend's granddaughter. Yes, you can. You can send to my email. I will type it right now. Okay. Marcel at raymarcel.com. I take a look at everything. Okay. Go ahead. You can send me the name, state, everything it came from. Okay. If there's any news clippings, anything like that, send that to me as well. I'm actually going out of town tomorrow to go help a family member locate somebody. All right, let's see if we have any updates. Let's see if there's any updates, because this case, man, there's an update every. Phew. Let's see what we got going on.
Obviously,
Who is
people
this?
trying to take advantage of the
No, that's
situation.
not a new video.
It's not about her, really.
The
It's
Pascal
about,
show.
It's about that, which
You
is
guys
ridiculous.
watch Pascal.
TSLA, thank you so much for the love. I wonder if this is.
Let's see here. Do we have anything? Hold up. What is this? Let's see what this is right here. Let's see what this is.
Here we go again. TMZ is reportedly saying that they have received a second email from the same person who recently claimed to know who abducted 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie from her residence in Tucson, Arizona. In the original message, this sender demanded 1 Bitcoin, which is about $65,000 cash, in exchange for the alleged information. No payment was provided to this person, however, because Nancy's family asked just to see proof of life that Nancy was alive and with them, and they failed to provide that. According to TMZ, this person sent an email again around 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time expressing frustration about not being taken seriously. The message reportedly contained concerning language, which prompted TMZ to notify law enforcement right away. Law enforcement said that they're aware of this email and they're looking into it. But we're on day 12 at this point, and authorities have still failed to find out where this originally came from last week and who sent this, so I'm not hopeful that this is going to be discovered anytime soon. Now, one significant detail that is getting attention from today's email is that the sender referenced Carlos, the delivery driver for FedEx and DoorDash, who was detained the other night. The sender of this email said that they don't want to be scrutinized the same way that Carlos was when authorities briefly detained him before releasing him, and they said that the Bitcoin that they are requesting would allow them to lay low after coming forward so that they didn't have to be incriminated publicly like that Carlos guy. Now, earlier today, authorities did put up a tent outside of the front door of Nancy's residence. Authorities did say that this tent was placed there briefly. It was only there for a little while because they were using a height chart board alongside the Nest camera in order to determine how tall the possible suspect is in this case. Authorities also noted that they are looking specifically for Ring camera footage from 2 specific days, January 11th, 2026 between 9 p.m. and midnight, and January 31st between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. Neighbors in the area reported that this request was made on the actual Ring app. They're also reportedly going door to door in Nancy's neighborhood.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. He just said one date and time I didn't hear recently. Hold on real quick. Matt's pretty good. I like Matt.
Neighbors in the area reported that this request was made on the actual Ring app. Possible suspect is in this case. Authorities also noted that they are looking specifically for Ring camera footage from 2 specific days, January 11th, 2026 between 9 p.m. and midnight, and January 31st between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m.
January 31st. January 31st in the morning. Hold on. Hold on real quick. Let's see something real quick. January 31st in the morning. January 31st, which I thought is Saturday. January 31st is Saturday morning. She went missing supposedly that same night. So they're saying that there's possibly reason that somebody was there that morning too. Somebody could have been there that morning as well. Are they going off tips? Or do they have footage?
a.m. Neighbors in the area reported that this request was made on the actual Ring app. They're also reportedly going door to door in Nancy's neighborhood asking residents about a potential truck. So we'll see what happens here. Of course, I will be continuing to update you.
Now it's a potential truck. Yeah, so January 11th, I'm thinking maybe they have some sort of a tip or some sort of evidence that maybe the same vehicle could have been in the same area on January 11th and January 31st. That is what I'm probably thinking of. But yes, why the 11th, 3 weeks prior? I'm thinking they have evidence that she was being stalked or somebody seen her. Yeah, the teens from Arizona. I'm actually going to look into that because, like I said, I just heard about that today, about the whole scam thing that was going on with taking people ransom for Bitcoin. So I'm actually going to look into that. The only thing about teens is hard to get a lot of information on teens because their age. Major says, Ray, hold up. I still don't know how they knew Nancy was missing in the first place because the church is not it. All right, Major 2506 has a great point. So for you guys that don't know, we all know the story was Nancy didn't show up to church. So the church called the family, who we all know now is Annie and Tommaso. It's the only family they can call it's in the area. Said Annie didn't show up to church, so you guys need to check up on her, right? So that's what they told us to begin. This is all right. So we're like, all right, oh, well, come to find out after that, they said that Nanny didn't go to church since COVID personally, that she was attending on live. So like right here, this comment says, church people called because they met to watch it on TV. She didn't show up. They called the daughter. So for, I think it was like 4 days, all of us are thinking like, hey, okay, she was watching on live, Zoom or something. Then the church comes out and says, oh yeah, there's no way for us to know she was on live. We're like, all right. Then after that, the story comes out that, oh, she's supposed to go over to a friend's house and watch the live with a friend's house. Who is did we ever find out who the friend was? Who's the friend? Did we ever find out who the friend was? It just kind of kept switching on us. It kept switching. Victoria, thank you for the super sticker. Okay. Thank you so much. Next time. So he said the church says they did not call anyone. Supposedly, they contacted the church. Somebody contacted the church and then asked them, how would they know if anybody was, and then supposedly the church said, we don't know whoever's on live for their church services anyway. But if she was supposed to go over to a friend's house, who's the friend? They never said who the friend was. The whole church thing is very unclear. It's very, and it started with the sheriff. He's starting to look like a suspect. It started with the sheriff. Let's see if I can find, hold on. Let me see if I can find. Let me see. Let's see. It was reported by the New York Post. The New York Post is who reported that she was supposed to go to a friend's house for church. Nancy Guthrie was supposed to go to a friend's house to watch a streamed New York church service. It was supposed to be a streamed New York church service. So New York Post, here, let me show you guys this. So you guys can see it for yourselves. Okay? So Nancy Guthrie was supposed to go to a friend's house to watch a streamed New York church service. But then New York Post says the source claims to Fox News changes the narrative that Nancy, 84, was reported missing after failing to physically appear at a church service. Instead, the insider said Nancy was part of a group of worshipers who would gather at a friend's home to tune into services broadcast by a New York church attendant. The group's tradition dates back to the COVID pandemic. So they've been doing it since COVID. Okay? Yep, and that's what, Lori, that's exactly what New York Post is saying. Exactly what they're saying. The church story has changed 3 times. Robin said, yeah, really, because the church story it's changed 3 times. Now let's see. Hold on. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find who originally said anything about the church service. Let's see. Let's see if I can find anything. Let's see what Ashley and Kelly have to say. Hold on real quick. Let's see what Ashley and Kelly have to say.
Had both the Daily Mail and Brian Enton yesterday told us as well, reporting that Nancy Guthrie wasn't going to church physically anymore and hadn't been since the COVID pandemic, that she'd been joining the live stream the church offers and participating from her home. Moreover, the Daily Mail reports it wasn't a Zoom situation where the congregants could see who was joining virtually. It was just a live stream being blasted out by the church, outgoing only. And therefore, no one would be aware of whether Nancy was participating or not. So how do we go from she talked to a friend who was concerned at the church, which you heard him say on camera there, and they took him an hour and then they called 911, to now it's they checked on Nancy and discovered her missing and within moments called 911. Yeah. Had both the Daily Mail and Brian Enton yesterday told us as well.
Yeah, so yeah, it was the sheriff. The sheriff said they spoke with the church. The sheriff said they spoke with the church. Let me see if I can find that. See if I can find that. See if I can find it real quick. Buried down in all this information. Hold on. Remember, for 30 years. Hold on, this don't make sense. Wait. This don't make sense. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Pastor at Andrews. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Is this a branch of churches? I'm hoping this is a branch of churches. Let me see something. Do they have one in Tucson? Let me see. Let me see. Do they have one in Tucson? All right, so they do have one in Tucson. So do they have one in New York too? Let's see if they have one in New York. Let me see. Is there one in New York? Sorry, guys. I'm looking at, because I just found out the actual name of the church from an article from the pastor. I'm trying to see if this adds up. Karen says, there's so much BS in this case. I still believe this daughter and son-in-law are involved. The narrative keeps changing. Yes, it changes all the damn time. So why is the sheriff insisting on sending evidence to the lab in Florida when FBI asked him to send it to the lab in Quantico? We went over that. Why? Why is he paying some private company in Florida to do the evidence? Why? The sheriff said it in his first conference. I was reading some of your chats here. Hold on real quick. So I was reading this article just now. That's why. And it was talking about the pastor. And she's been a member of the church, it says, for decades. Over 30 years, she's been a member of the church. For 30 years. But I'm wondering why she's attending, why she's watching a stream for New York. That's the part I was trying to understand. Why is she watching a stream for New York? That's the part I don't get. She's been a member for 30 years. And hasn't she lived in Arizona for 30 years? She's lived in Arizona for 30 years, right? as well. Didn't Savannah say they all grew up in Arizona? So why is she streaming a service out of New York? That part I don't get. That's what I'm trying to understand right now. Seeing if I missed something.
Tonight, authorities revealing several new and potentially critical details about everyone.
Let me see something here.
28, Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected. Sheriff and FBI coming just hours after that.
By now,
Authorities arresting a man. The note has a deadline. Sent to 3 different news outlets after that first alleged.
Yeah, I can't find an answer to that question. I'm just why were they streaming a service out of New York? That's the part I'm trying to wonder. Unless the Tucson service didn't have, I don't know. Like why were they doing that? It's Savannah's church in NYC. But here it says that she was a member of the church for 30 years. In this article, it says she was a member of the church for 30 years. That is supposed to be coming from the NBC News, who Savannah works for. And that's coming from John Title, the pastor at St. Andrews. Isn't the NY church who put up the money initially? I don't know. That's a great question. Which church put up the money? Does the pastor pass the ski mask test? Oh, yeah. Who is Pastor John? Pastor John Tittle, or Tittle. Tittle actually is his name. Pastor John Tittle. That's a good question. Let's see if I can find him. Let's see what he looks like. Let's see what Pastor John Tittle looks like. That's a great question. Is he out of New York or out of Arizona? Because they're not saying where he's out of. But he says that she's been a member of the church for 30 years. And he also says that she's a great member of the community. So are we talking about the New York community or Tucson community? Hold on, let me see something. Can we find a picture of this guy? Is this him? Is this him? Hold on, is this him? Oh, this is him. This is him. This is him. Hold on, let me see if I can find a better picture. Because the picture is very small. Hold on. I did find him. I found him. Hold on. All right. This is the pastor right here, guys. Okay. All right. Okay. This pastor is out of Tucson, Arizona. He's actually out of Tucson. So how does he know anything about New York? Wait. Look. That's him. That's the pastor. Nancy Guthrie's pastor prays for her safe return, for God to soften hearts of kidnappers. And it says down here, it says right down here, Pastor John Tittle of St. Andrews, the church in Tucson, Arizona, where Nancy Guthrie, the missing 84-year-old today, mother of the Today Show, Savannah, has been missing, has been a member for 30 years. So if he's out of Tucson, Arizona, if this man is out of Tucson, Arizona, okay, he says she's been a member for 30 years. Why is she watching a live stream for a church in New York? You guys get where I'm going? That don't sound right. Why? What's really going on? And which church put up the money? Was it the church in Tucson or the church in New York? Maybe the pastor was in Arizona first and changed to New York. Maybe one church had two locations. Did the pastor know Savannah? I'm still reading this article. Let's see. Let me see here. I'm reading the article still. I want to see what else this says. See here, we're still going. I'm still reading. The pastor, who is, I believe his name is pronounced Tittle, like little, said he and his congregation are 110% committed to praying for Nancy Guthrie's safe return, and noted that last Wednesday the church held a very moving prayer vigil on her behalf. So wasn't that done in Tucson? That was done in Tucson, right? That was done in Tucson. If you were able to attend to see online Wednesday's prayer vigil, what a healing and important time for the community to come together to pray and ask for mercy in this terrible situation. But this is him, Pastor John Little, church out of Tucson, Arizona, it says. I'm from Texas. Church on every corner. Move to CA churches. Reading some of your comments. Was the pastor having an affair? Oh, you trying to dig into the pastor. You trying to really dig into the pastor. What is the purpose of a pacemaker that isn't warning anybody out of trouble? Victoria, people have said that. People have said that. Maybe she listened to both church services online. You're right. Time zones. I did not think about that. She could have attended church on one time zone and then maybe attended church on another time zone. That is very possible. I did not think about that. But once again, we have a comment here. So this is why I love you guys. Hold up. Isn't there a 3-hour time difference from NY to Arizona? So what time was Nancy supposed to be attending and gathering? So great. That was great because one of you guys brought up there's a 3-hour time difference. So maybe she was going to watch church 10 o'clock this time or church 10 o'clock this time. But it's a 3-hour time difference. So yes, what time was she supposed to be gathering? Because East Coast, I'm in Florida, I'm on East Coast time, I'm 3 hours ahead of Arizona. So meaning if my church was at, let's say 10 a.m., a lot of times I haven't been to church in years, but a lot of times I know church will start around 10 a.m., right? So what's 10 a.m. in West Coast time? 9, 8, 7 a.m., 7 a.m., right? 7 a.m. is West Coast time. What time was she supposed to be at the friend's house? She's got a side church. So it's 2 hour difference from Arizona. Oh yeah, Arizona doesn't go through the they don't go through that time change, right? Is it Arizona doesn't go through the time change where they change for, hour ahead, hour or whatever it was? But still, if church starts at 10 East Coast time, meaning she should have been at her friend's house at least by 8 o'clock, right? What was the time? Let's see. What was the time? What time was Nancy supposed to be at her friend's house? Let's see. Let's see here. What time was Nancy supposed to be at her friend's house? All right. I'm looking at a complete timeline right now. Hold on, guys. Okay, let's see here. Interesting. This timeline doesn't even have the whole church thing that I'm reading. Hold on. They just erased it. Straight erased. Hold on. Wow. That timeline actually, well, I just read it, it erased the whole thing with the church. Let me see. Let me find another one. They skipped the whole thing with the church. Let's see what this guy says. Is there a time he's giving us? I need a time.
Her and other friends. And when she didn't show up, she wasn't going to church. She was going over a friend's house to watch church services online. Her and other friends. And when she didn't show up, they called her daughters.
So what time?
Some folks will say, what difference does it make? But it does. When you're working on a case like this, that you can't find the suspect, you have no person of interest, anything.
Yeah, what time? We need the actual time that she was supposed to be there. I've just looked at a fourth timeline, and some reason the whole church thing is erased from the fourth. I hold on. Wow, that one's not there either. All right, CNN. Let's see if they got the complete timeline. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Does CNN have the complete timeline? They're all skipping over the church. Hold on. Wait. Hey, look, I'm going to show you guys what I'm seeing right now. For some reason, it's all skipping over the whole church. Watch this. Look. Look at this time. This is from CNN. Okay. Now, this says here is a timeline of key events in the case. Key events in the case, people. January 31st. This explains that Nancy joins her family for dinner and game night Saturday evening, Ubering to her older daughters. And I always wonder why she Ubered. I don't get that part. But anyways. And it says around 5:30 p.m. hours. Later, family members drop her back home. Guthrie's garage door opens at 9:48 p.m. and closes at 9:50 p.m. It is that time we assume that Nancy's home and probably going to bed. All right. Then it goes to February 1st. And then it says the doorbell camera is disconnected at 1:47 a.m. About 25 minutes later, surveillance camera software detects movement at 2:28. All right. Then it says more than 9 hours later, it skipped the whole church. It's skipping the whole, this is on CNN. The whole church is skipped. They took it out. More than 9 hours later, 11:56 a.m., the family realizes she's missing, but they don't even say how they realize she's missing. Why are they skipping the whole church incident? There's got to be somebody that has this up. Wow. A week ago, the church thing was everywhere. Now I can't find it. All right. Maybe I have one. Let's see. Nope, I don't. What? Come on. You got to be kidding me. Wouldn't that be a key, something to put in the time frame? Hold on real quick. This is ridiculous. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Somebody just said, hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. Somebody just said they expected her at what time did you say? Hold on, I just saw it. You said they expected her at 11 a.m. I don't think that would make sense though, because 11 a.m. Arizona time would be 1 a.m. my time. But the original timeline, the family supposedly went over to the house. I think it was like 11 o'clock, the original timeline, because they didn't call the police till like after 12. They changed the timeline again tonight. They changed it again tonight. Oh, I know they changed the ring camera time or whatever it was. That I do know. That got changed. I think they're playing with us. They're playing with us right now. Watch this. Guys, look at this. Look at this real quick. Look. Look at this. This is from AOL. It says Nancy Guthrie was expected at friend's home, not church when she vanished. But in this whole article, I just read it. The whole article, they don't tell you what time or nothing she was supposed to be at church. They don't say nothing. Nothing at all. They just say that she was supposed to watch a church service from Savannah's church in New York. And then they go into the timeline of the night she was supposed to have dinner, then a timeline of when her garage door opened up. But nobody's saying the exact time she's supposed to be at the friend's house for church. Wow. You would think that would be a key piece of ingredients to all of this. What time was she supposed to be at the... None of these articles are telling me. Let me see here. Let's see if AI knows. Let's go with AI. What's AI going to tell me? This is what AI says. AI don't even know the time, y'all. AI doesn't even know the time. AI has no clue of the time. AI doesn't even know what time she's supposed to be there. AI can tell you the time her pacemaker connected from her disconnected from the phone, though. Interesting. How was she supposed to get there? I want to know that too. How was she supposed to get? Did she Uber to them? If she obviously, I guess she wasn't driving. So how was she supposed to get to the friend's house? Was she supposed to Uber? They don't ever mention how she was supposed to get to the friend. How was she even supposed to get there? They don't even mention that. All right. So Robin says you found she was supposed to be there at 8:30, which corresponds with the 10:30 broadcast. Now that makes sense. But what about the Arizona church though? Would she maybe be watching the Arizona one when that's done, I guess? I don't know. Why didn't the sheriff drive around with the Apple Watch to try and find her with the pacemaker? Why didn't the sheriff do a lot of things? Why didn't the sheriff close off the entire road to start with and make it to where a pizza guy couldn't deliver pizza to the front door? Who was the pizza guy anyway? Who was the pizza guy? Now I think about it, to drive through all that, walk up with the pizza, and like, who was the pizza guy? Like, he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know, like, oh, this is Nancy Guthrie house. I mean, not gonna, like, who was the guy? Crazy. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. For you guys that have my email, please, if you have anything going on, cases, something like that, you can welcome to send to me. I'll take a look at them. I'm going out of town tomorrow to go look at a case or whatever. So I'm getting them my vehicle and heading on the road early in the morning. I'm still going to drop a video, but it's not going to be from this setting. It's going to be from another setting. It might be on the road, the same thing like Brian Hinton does. So that's what I'm going to be doing almost a whole entire weekend, actually. And I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Kate said maybe the pizza guy thought the deputies wanted the pizza. I mean, like, he literally, they said he literally walked up on the steps where the blood splatters at, walked up there with the pizza, and like reporters didn't say anything. Like, hey guy, you know, this like, I don't know. The whole point is he shouldn't have been able to even allowed up there. Should have been yellow tape to start. Nobody should have been up there. But hey, I'm not the police, so I can't do that. I can't do it. Thank you for all the safe travels, guys. Thank you for all that. I will make sure I have safe travels. Like I said, if you have anything, you send it to my email. My email is always in the description of my videos. If it's not in one, go to the next one to be in there. It's raymarcel@raymarcel.com. Thanks a lot. Like I said, I'm going to be reporting where I'm at or whatever, right? So you guys still are going to see my face. And don't worry, I'll still keep you updated on this and anything else that I find out. Out of all the YouTube channels, you guys chose to be with me. I appreciate that. Wonder Woman, thank you. One of my beloved members and also mods, thank you so much. Major says, I love this channel. Thank you so much. Love you guys too. Kate says, great show. Thank you. Robinson, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the chat. Thank you, Ruth. I hope you like your new merch you're getting. Thank you, Just the Facts. Thank you, Lori. Charmaine. And a lot of you guys had some great points tonight. Great points. Like Susan, why did it take 1 hour before the police call was made? But they changed the timeline. They took that hour away. Like I said, I would not doubt if some of you guys are thinking that this is all fake. I would not argue with. I would literally not if you came to me and you said I think this whole thing is fake, I would not argue with you. I would not. I can't argue with you. How would I argue? You can't. So until we get some sort of either Nancy's found, hopefully alive, or a body or something, even if they arrest somebody, you're probably going to still think it's fake because that person could be innocent. So I wouldn't doubt it. But thank you everybody for joining in. Karen from Australia. I didn't know you were from Australia. All right, mate. Yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, we do have a lot in common. Why haven't a mayor or governor had a press conference? Great question. We always had the sheriff bumbling facts and rambling. Charmaine, thank you for the super sticker, the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will definitely keep it up. You guys have been supporting me very much, so it helps me on my journey to help other people like I'm doing tomorrow, like what Brian Enton does, you know? It helps me. Be safe, Ray. Safe travels. Thank you so much. Southern California, Deborah, that's where I grew up. I'm originally a California kid. Originally, that's where I grew up at. Thank you so much. So you guys have a great night, all right? Take care of your loved ones. Please be safe. Watch out for your surroundings, okay? All of you guys have been very supportive of me. My channel is almost at 20,000 subs. I've grown to 20,000 subscriptions since I think 8 months. In 8 months, I've grown to 20,000 subscriptions, something like that. It's been unreal. I'm the fastest growing YouTube channel in the true crime genre. You know, so thank you so much. You guys take care of each other, all right? Look out for one another. Please be great role models and citizens, okay? Fugitive TV, love you guys. I'm out.